What a wild, heart-pounding, jaw-dropping ride this season has been. 79 years of this league, and somehow it still finds ways to shock us all, to thrill us all, to break our hearts and lift our spirits all at once. Let me take you back, paint a picture a little bit of what a year has been and what will echo through barbershops and group chats for decades. Picture this. Oklahoma City, a team that's been building, simmering, explodes into something historic. SGA, smooth as silk, cold as ice, carves up the league, snatches the MVP, and leads the Thunder to a season that flirts with immortality. A plus 12.6 point differential, folks. That's knocking on the door of the 72 Lakers. They won 29-1 against the East, 14 losses in total, a wrecking ball in sneakers. Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, they're not just a supporting cast. No, they're co-stars. And now they're in the finals, locked in a 3-2 dogfight with the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, kid's a maestro, conducting an offense that's pure fire, but he's limping right now. Calf's a little tight. And Game 6 is tonight here in Indiana. It's anyone's guess. This series, this moment, it's the pulse of the whole damn season. But let's rewind. This wasn't just OKC's story. This wasn't just the Indiana Pacers story. The league was a chessboard, pieces flying everywhere. The Lakers pull off the heist of the century, snagging Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic, easy for you to say, to pair with LeBron James. LeBron, by the way, makes history. First player ever to hoop as a teenager and in his 40s in the NBA. And he passed Jordan for the most 30-point games ever. He's now sitting at 571 30-point games. Absolute legend, and had the LeBron versation this year. But the Lakers, they were just sold for a record-breaking $10 billion. And they also crashed out in the first round of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Proof that even super teams can't always gel. Meanwhile, the Knicks traded for Karl Anthony Towns, sent Julius Randle packing. Kevin Durant's name's been swirling around everywhere. Spurs, Heat, Rockets circling like sharks. The trade deadline felt like a soap opera. Every tweet from Shams mostly a plot twist. And the coaches, they took a beating. Sacramento fired Mike Brown. He was a Coach of the Year candidate during the middle of the season. Memphis booted Taylor Jenkins. The Denver Nuggets, who just won the title a couple years back, cuts ties with Michael Malone after a decade about 8 days before the NBA playoffs. The Knicks sent Tibbs packing, and their coaching search is still a mess. It was like the league decided to hit a full reset button on half of its sidelines. Stats for this season? Wild. 3-pointers were up. Shots were made at a record-breaking pace. Victor Wembanyama's blocking shots like he's swatting flies, setting a whole new standard of efficiency on the defensive end. And off the court, drama everywhere. Giannis trade whispers. TNT's inside the NBA, packing up and heading to ESPN. It's the dawn of a new era. And here we are, June 19th, 2025. Juneteenth, 2025. Game 6 looming this evening. Oklahoma City, 1 win away from a title. Indy, 1 rally from forcing a Game 7. This season's been a masterpiece. Trades, firings, milestones, miracles. It's reminded us why we love this league. Because it's so damn unpredictable. Because it's so damn human. Because it's ours. Whoever hoists the trophy tonight, one thing's certain. They will be the champion of a season that'll never be forgotten.
Hey! Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping!
Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Feel the Pain Bridge, Gamebridge Fieldhouse, host of tonight's NBA Finals, Game 6 on this Juneteenth. This program begins now.
Finals!
Our happening right here in this building. We can't thank you enough for allowing us to do this for the living. The fact that we are here is insane. The last time we were in the building of an NBA Finals, we felt like the world was upside down. We felt like there was no reason for us to be here. And then the Pacers would go on to lose to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then it would go back to Oklahoma City, and the Pacers would lose yet again. And tonight, we're staring down a title game. We're staring down a potential Larry O presence. We're staring down a potential Oklahoma City Thunder championship happening right here in Indianapolis. All the Pacers have to do is give it a go. Tyrese Halliburton's game time decision. All the other boys don't want their season to end. We can force a Game 7 tonight here in Indiana, and the Pacers have already put out a tweet letting Pacers fans know that we need to hear you from beginning to end. We need this place to be loud. We need this place to be daunting. We need this place to be tough. And whenever we win tonight, Game 7 in Oklahoma City, we shall see how the cards fall. But with that being said, this Oklahoma City team is phenomenal. Why'd you start with that cold open? Well, the Oklahoma City team was actually doing their shoot around here in this arena, and we were not allowed in the bowl until they were done. At about 11:47, we said, well, we're going to need about 4 or 5 minutes to go ahead and regain this entire thing. Incredible work by Foxy in the back. Incredible work by D-Bone and Bruce and everybody in the truck for making that happen. And also incredible work by the NBA on having a hell of a season thus far. And tonight, it shall roll on. We're incredibly thankful to be here. We're pumped to be here. There's a lot going on in sports. We'll talk about it all. Shams Charania will join us in about 10 minutes or so. We'll chit-chat with him about what's going on around the NBA and what's going on with Tyrese Halliburton. Coach Calipari of Arkansas now, formerly of Kentucky, will certainly be joining us to chit-chat about what Arkansas baseball team was able to accomplish until last night. Also, what SGA is doing. Obviously, a big part of the conversation of this entire NBA season. Cal has a lot to say, and we can't wait for his breakdown on what the NBA Finals Game 6 should look like tonight. And then in the second hour, we'll have friend of the show, Q Rich, joining us. And it's not just those guys. Obviously, I got an incredible group of dudes here. The Toxic Table's here at Ty Schmidt and at Boston Connor. Boys, how you doing? The shark, the jaws feel. Is that because the Pacers are banana, coming back? Or is that are you saying that's Oklahoma City coming in here to Indiana?
I mean, initially yesterday I said, hey, look, this thing's over. I'm not doing this whole song and dance about how I have faith in the Pacers winning a basketball game, especially when Tyrese Halliburton's hurt. But then last night, we have this massive storm, and I believe you still don't have power.
Still don't have power, yeah. I've been living an Amish lifestyle for the last, 17 hours or so. Me and Jebediah tilling the land. Now, I did have my phone, which is certainly nice, but I found myself staring at the sky, staring at the lake, running around outside, fixed my flagpole a little bit, had no power, and everything in the house obviously operates by power these days. We're still without power, so, I mean, certainly a big storm came through last night that we didn't know was coming.
No, not at all. Kind of tornado.
But the storm was last night, not tonight.
It was last night, not tonight, and that's because that was kind of the calm before the storm, if you will.
Sure.
I viewed it as, and I saw a video of a Pacers flag flying in the wind with Freebird playing behind it, and now all of a sudden, I'm all the way back.
70-mile-an-hour winds, this Pacers flag, go ahead, flapping in the sky.
It's incredible.
We believe is the message, Ty Schmidt. I need you to get on board with that a little bit more.
No, I am on board. I am on board fully, but, I was just trying not to go in with too much blind optimism, but hey, guess what? It's do or die. We'll see what these boys got. They've kind of had their backs against the wall all season. Nobody's believed in them time and time again. What's one more? What's one more when no one thinks you can win, when Larry O's in the building? Hey, we don't know what's going to happen with Tyrese, but if there's ever a night where every other player on the Pacers needs to have a career game, tonight's the night. I think a lot of guys on the Pacers team are going to be thinking about having one tonight, and rightfully so.
And I think they definitely need to.
They need to have one.
If we want to continue and extend this to a 7-game series. Toxic Table, I'd like to wish you guys a happy Juneteenth. Also, happy Juneteenth to one half of the Hammer, Dahn, Cowboy.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Yeah, it was good.
Nailed it.
That baby. That's 20-year NBA vet. 3-time champion. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy
You
Juneteenth.
going
Happy Juneteenth.
And I would like to let you know, I wish the Toxic Table, which are two Caucasian men down there, happy Juneteenth as well. I wasn't just wishing you a happy Juneteenth. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Juneteenth. A day that I think a lot of us learned about probably within the last 5 to 10 years, but certainly a historic day in our country's history. Certainly worthy of being something known by all. But one half of the Hammer, Dahn,
Cowboys nailed it. What are the odds saying for tonight? Because I believe the Pacers yet again are 6.5-point dogs at home. And the last time they were 6.5-point dogs at home, it was the biggest underdog in the history of the finals for a home team.
Yep, exact same thing. That was last Friday night when you guys were thinking about having one and did have one.
We did have one.
The Pacers were having one for about 3.5 quarters before the Thunder decided to lock it down in the fourth quarter. I believe the Pacers only scored 17 in that fourth quarter. A couple free throws late, and the Thunder covered that one. That was the first game that the Thunder covered on the road this entire playoffs. So here we are sitting again back at 6.5. This actually opened at 4.5. And then there was a 2-point move when the news about Tyrese came about and his injury, whatever it is. When that news came out, it jumped to 6.5. So we're sitting right there again. It doesn't matter tonight, though. You guys talked about the storm last night. I'm not sure if you noticed. There was a lot of wind and a lot of rain and a lot of lightning, but it was a quiet storm. There wasn't a lot of thunder at all.
No thunder.
Super confusing to me. And then I saw what shirts they're putting out tonight. That is good news for the Pacers.
It's
tonight.
not no, sir.
It's yes, sir.
Yes, Shams actually sent me a text yesterday and was like, hey, are we running this back tomorrow? Are you guys going to be live from the arena? And I responded with yes, sir. SIR. And I immediately, sorry, I got no power. I'm kind of out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We would love to have you. Speaking of loving to have you, 9-year NFL vet Darius J. Butler is here. D-Bucks, great to see you. You weren't in the building last time we were here doing this show. Obviously, the finals atmosphere has been electrifying here in Indianapolis, but it does feel like there are certain parts and contingencies of Indianapolis that feel like what Oklahoma City has become in this series is what Oklahoma City has been all season long. I read it in the open there. They were a plus 12.6 point differential team, 14 losses all season. Number one seed in the entire NBA for good reason. They've been pouring it on a little bit here to Indiana, and obviously that could continue this evening to the chagrin of all of us.
Yeah, Thunder's been very dominant both ends of the court, much like our championship Florida Panthers. You know, so I had a few last night, so I'm glad I made it in here this morning. But I'm feeling like the boys, man. I'm on that yes sirs train. I think they figured it out. I think Tyrese comes out and gives his team a spark. I'm not sure how healthy he'll be, but he's going to give them everything they got. And the rest of the guys are going to show up. The others, as Shaq likes to call them, will show up at home and force this game 7. But I'm excited to be in the building right now, and I know this shit is going to be rocking later on tonight.
And 20-year vet, we already introduced him, but, why not another time? 3-time champ, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, Udonis Haslam.
20 years. What'd you say, 79 years NBA?
Yeah, 79.
So 20 of them things?
Yeah, quarter of the NBA's existence this man played in it. And the stat about LeBron being the only player to play as a teenager and in his 40s in the NBA is absurd. So obviously there's been some pillars of this league, and certainly the boys at the Pacers, young team, they're trying to become a pillar. Oklahoma City, people are talking about them maybe starting a dynasty here in this entirety because of how young they are and what they got cooking. UD, how do you see tonight going, and what have you seen from this Oklahoma City team the last 2 games that maybe should make us Pacers fans a little bit worried?
Well, for me, I'm starting to see Oklahoma City start to impose their will. I'm starting to see those turnovers starting to turn into points on the other end. I'm starting to see them make adjustments defensively. The first couple games, they were a little uncharacteristic as far as their defense. A lot of mistakes, a lot of different things that you just don't see from a top defensive team. So I think they're starting to impose their will. But for me, I'm still on the yes sir train. I ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still on.
You said 7.
Yeah, I said 7, and I'm still saying 7. I'm still saying yes sir. Listen, this team has thrived in this role all year, being the underdogs, having the chip stacked against them. So this is nothing new. It'd be different if you had a team who had been given everything, and now you get into the role where you have to fight with your back against the wall. This is where they thrive. This is their norm. Like, this is when they're their best version. So I'm not worried about this team at all. Tyrese Halliburton, we don't know what he was going to bring, but they've had the power of the brotherhood all season. So the best time now is for that to show.
The Brotherhood's going to need a show, especially if Tyrese is going to continue to be embattled, we'll say. Obviously, his calf, his ankle has been bothering him the last few games, and I think that goes back a little bit more. So tonight is a game-time decision, and let's say he plays. We expect Tyrese to play great. If he doesn't play, there's a lot of guys on that team who have the capability of going off. I know we've mentioned T.J. McConnell. T.J. McConnell could potentially take over this entire game. He's done that numerous times. Nembhard, Neesmith, Pascal, Miles Turner, we're waiting on Miles to have a big one here
Yes.
in the finals, which we think can happen. The depth of the Pacers gives me hope, even if Tyrese can't possibly play. But without Tyrese, it's a completely different team. Coach Carlisle said they're preparing for him, and without him, we will see if the Oklahoma City team is probably doing the exact same.
Yeah, and Benedict Mathurin, happy birthday.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I know. I've screwed up his name so many times. It's his birthday.
Yeah.
We have a birthday game all of a sudden
Okay.
in the arena. I think that's a huge deal. UD, you can probably speak more to that if it's someone's birthday. I assume everyone's saying,
had a
hey,
lot of 'em.
happy birthday. Let's get this guy the ball. If you're on OKC, though, and you hear Tyrese say something like, if this was a regular season game, I probably wouldn't be playing, but it's the finals, it's different. Are you just attacking Tyrese the whole time? Like, is that the adjustment they make? Yeah.
Hey, I mean, you're already attacking him on defense anyway. He's already a guy who you're trying to put in as many actions as possible. I saw that early in Game 3. I thought they should have stayed with that because the first couple buckets, whether it was a pick and roll, whether it was a slip screen, he was in the action. So he is going to be in every single action tonight on the defensive end. My question is, okay, he starts the game. What happens when you come out and sit on the bench and then have to go back in? When that calf cools down and you've been playing at that fast pace all the time, then you try to get back in the game. That's my question. So he's got to be prepared to be put in a lot of actions. But I tell you one thing, guys, I got hurt in the finals too. Broke my finger. So what?
Yeah.
Like, this is the finals. Like, this is the finals. So Tyrese going to go out there. He's going to play. He's going to give it his best version. But there's no way he misses this game. And if you're OKC, you're on the other side, ain't no way in hell you think Tyrese Halliburton is missing this game. So, Coach, where you at? Do not prepare for him not to be in this game. Don't even waste your time with that preparation. He's going to be in this game.
He said if he can walk, he'll play in the game. And I mentioned the Indiana Pacers sending out a message to the fan base beforehand. This is how it reads as we prepare for Shams Charania's arrival. And I cannot wait to hear what he is talking about today. The Pacers asked their fan base, hey, one more time, Indiana. This is it. The final home game of the season. One last chance to fight. To believe. Gainbridge Fieldhouse has been electric all year, but this time will be louder, wilder, more relentless than ever. We bring the chaos from the opening tip to the final buzzer because tonight we leave it all out there. So get on your feet, wave those towels, be dominant, be deafening, and above all, believe. We're not done. Not yet. Not tonight. You've been with us every step of the way. Now be the difference one more time. Tonight, we fight to see another day. Let them hear us, Indiana, all game long. Yes, sir! As we are joined by Shams Charania.
Hey, baby Shams.
Shams, we were just chit-chatting about Tyrese Halliburton and what he's going through. UD said he's got hurt in the finals. It was his finger. There's been a lot of people that have obviously battled through injuries. Calf, ankle seems to be pretty serious for Tyrese. He said if he can walk, he'll play. They labeled it a game-time decision. What are you hearing, Shams, at this exact moment? And what is the expectation for Tyrese Halliburton tonight and the Pacers?
Pat, Tyrese Halliburton, from my understanding, he has every intention of playing tonight.
Okay.
And unless the medical team sees him, so the Pacers have a walkthrough this afternoon. So approximately around 5 p.m. Eastern time, they're hopeful to know definitively whether Tyrese Halliburton should be able to play or not. Unless there's some kind of a setback there, if he shows some signs where the medical team has to come in and step in and say, listen, we can't throw you out there, but he's fully intending to be out there tonight. He's going to gut it out. I would expect him to have some padding on that calf. But listen, it's a calf strain. UD knows a lot about calf strains, and so he's definitely got to be careful. But as long as he can get out there, I would expect Tyrese Halliburton to try to play tonight.
Okay, that's great news. I love hearing that. And obviously, we have a deep team. We have a great team. Tyrese, for good reason, Olympic gold medalist, leader of the team. Pascal Siakam, also NBA All-Star and stud for our team. We got a lot of those, but Tyrese playing. The straw that stirs the drink is good news, so I'm happy to hear that. Now, around the NBA, I hear we potentially have some breaking news.
We do have news. So I was standing on the side. I was making phone calls. You know, I'm getting ready to come on PMS. We're working. I do have news.
Okay.
This is in the Western Conference.
Damn.
Houston Rockets head coach Ime Udoka has reached agreement on a long-term contract extension with the franchise. It makes Udoka one of the highest-paid coaches in the NBA right now. This
Congratulations,
deal,
Ime. Coach.
This is an 8-figure deal annually, I'm told. And you think about Tillman and Patrick Fertitta, Rockets ownership, their general manager, Rafael Stone, they went out and hired Ime Udoka in 2023 when we know he got suspended from the Celtics. They ended up parting ways, essentially, and they scooped him up fast. They got him. He obviously is a championship caliber coach already. He showed it in Boston. And there's a stat I saw. In his 2 seasons there, 93 wins in Houston. The 3 years prior to that, they had just 59 wins. So they won 52 games this year, the number 2 seed. Playoffs for the first time since 2020. And this is a team clearly on the rise with some good young players.
Absolutely. Yes. And obviously their names being listed for some trade destinations for some potential superstar players.
Which one is that, Kevin? No, we don't have to say it.
Okay. It sounds like you're saying it, Sean.
You're the one yanking us around.
I was going to finish about Ime Udoka. He never been questioned about how good of a coach he is, right?
No.
Never.
Even in Boston, it was.
Oh, he's such a good coach, though. That's all everybody kept saying when everything went down.
Finals.
Yeah,
he's going to the finals for a year.
Yeah, absolutely. And when the Knicks call and ask if he's available, does that help for his leverage, or is this already kind of in the works?
This has been in the works for a really long time. This is ever since the Rockets season ended in that first round of the playoffs. They've been working on this extension, negotiating this extension out, and this type of coach, they wanted to make sure. They view Ime Udoka as a coach for the next decade, the next maybe a decade and a half. That's the type of run that they want Ime Udoka and Rafael Stone there to have.
UD, how many great young I don't know if Ime is considered a young coach, but for me, he's like the next generation of coaches. How many of these guys stick and how many guys end up stinking? Does that make sense? Like, it feels like there's a good hit rate at the coaching position. Like, I think if you were to ask Utah, they'd be pumped about Hardy. I think they gave him a new deal. Yeah. Obviously, Carlisle's old dog, but it seems like these younger coaches that get in, I mean, Missoula is like 25 years old.
Yeah.
They seemingly have a pretty high hit rate. Is that accurate or no?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the way this works in his situation is him being a young coach, having a young team. So he speaks that language. He's relatable to those guys. They follow his leadership, and he understands. I'll tell you, when we used to be in those series against Boston, and I've mentioned this before, when I looked down to the huddle, it was Ime Udoka leading that charge. It wasn't Tatum. It wasn't Brown. It wasn't Smart. It was him leading that charge. He was the leader of that group. He was the leader of that team. So you take a young team like this, and 15 guys embody his personality, 15 guys embody what he's all about. Now you got something to work with.
Okay, let's talk about something to work with. KD there. Now, I think there are some people that have some KD fatigue at this point. Not us. I'm a big Kevin Durant fan, and it also gives us something to talk about.
For sure.
Gives us something to talk about. We are a talk show, sports talk show, and 2.5, 3 hours every single day. So if Kevin Durant trade rumors are going to happen, would love to continue to talk about Kevin Durant. With that being said, it feels like there's been a couple different narratives of this conversation. I think last week you said it could end soon. Then there were some people that say it could reach into this week. Now we're into this week. What are your thoughts on the KD trade stuff? And are the Rockets, is that the next move after they handle Ime?
Yeah, I mean, Pat, the longer this drags out, the more we're going to be talking about it. Kevin Durant's one of the best players in the league still today. He's going to go down as, top 15, top 20
50,
player
40, 90
of all time, top 10 player of all time. So,
and
his stats, I mean, this is what he's doing even at this age is remarkable. So he deserves that. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a feeling last week, but at the end of the day, the Suns know if they're going to trade Kevin Durant, they clearly have a price threshold they want met. And I had one team tell me today, it's kind of a game of chicken at this point. From the Rockets to the Heat to the Minnesota Timberwolves, it's literally one or two pieces away, either which way, that can get a deal done. But at the end of the day, one of these teams has to meet that threshold to get something done. The NBA draft is about a week away, so could this go into the NBA draft? For sure. But I don't think the Suns wanted to. I don't think the other teams wanted to. You want to get those deals done. So my understanding is they're in active conversations with those three teams specifically on trying to get a deal done for Kevin Durant, having their price threshold met. I would also not be surprised if this has 3-4 team deal scenarios too. This is also something that could branch into much more than just being a 1-for-1 trade.
Okay, the NBA, whenever there's like 4 teams involved so that everyone can get the price right, is wild. It's I don't know how the deal makers get it done. Good luck to all parties. There's obviously so many different parts to get a deal done, especially at this level. Now, I think I read a quote of yours on the First Take Lower Third yesterday that said Phoenix is going to take the best deal, even if it isn't one of Kevin Durant's desired destinations or something like that. Where'd you say that, and is that accurate? Are the Phoenix Suns looking for the best deal right now for Kevin Durant, regardless?
No doubt. In their mind, they are. But it's a two-way street, right? So Kevin Durant's got 1 year, about $54 million plus left on his deal. That gives him an amount of leverage because a team that wants him, potentially, one, wants a guy like Kevin Durant to want to be there. Two, have the understanding of, listen, we can potentially extend you once you arrive or in a period of moments. So those are all parts of the equation. So, of course, if there's a team that steps up, doesn't want the commitment, the Suns would love to do a deal like that if that type of deal is out there where it supersedes a deal with his 3 preferred teams. So when I reported the 3 preferred destinations, San Antonio, Houston, and Miami, I also said the Suns are going to make the best decision for themselves, even if it's outside of that list. But the Rockets are on that list, and the Heat are on that list, and they are involved in this on these final stages.
You want to do any tampering?
No, sir. I just want to be there if he makes it.
Well,
I just want to be there when he makes it. That's if he makes it. I'll pick him up if he makes it.
I'll put it on you. From your perspective, take your team hat off. What would you do if you're Kevin Durant right now?
Well, I can't take my team hat off, Sean.
I'm trying to get him. Put your player hat on. Put your player.
I mean, go somewhere where I can possibly win a championship. Obviously, this is the goal. I know there's a lot of talk about what ring culture really is and what's important, but I think you go somewhere where you could possibly win a championship. So that's my conversation. Miami, yeah, like I said, it can work, man. But, there's other opportunities can work. I just sat here and told you how great of a coach Ime Udoka is. I look at those young pieces. There's opportunity to go over there. They already have a culture that's being built. Miami has a culture that's being built. So, like I said, Kevin Durant is a guy who loves to hoop 50, 40, 90, 50% from the field, 40 from 3, 90% from the free throw line. Mm-hmm. That's buckets.
Okay, I'm happy you said that because you said 50, 40, 90 earlier, and I was like, yeah.
I was wondering you guys know what that was. 50, 40, 90.
I was like, hell yeah, this dude's balling. I was like, 50 points, 40 assists.
90 rebounds.
Unbelievable.
He's efficient as hell is basically what I'm saying. He's efficient as hell.
Go ahead, D-Boy.
Shams, you kind of broke the internet last night again with what's going on with the Lakers and the majority stake sale with Jeanie Buss making that sale to Mark Walters and that group. I saw you put the valuation out at $10 billion.
$10 billion.
I just want to break down how this is going to look and how much, ownership does the Buss family retain.
So right now, the Buss family will have about 17%, just over 15% of the minority share for a period of time. I'm not quite sure, but usually with deals like this, there's provisions in it where the majority owner, in this case Mark Walter, will eventually potentially buy that out. Mm-hmm. So we'll see when we get the fine print exactly what that looks like, DB. Jeanie Buss will stay on as the governor for a period of time after this sale. But listen, someone like Mark Walter, you buy this team for $10 billion.
$10 billion. Every time you say that shit,
that feels like
pass out every time you say $10 billion.
I'm going to say this, and I know it's like the highest value sale, whatever. That whole conversation, the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, in my eyes, brand, name,
yes.
Los Angeles is obviously going to be more expensive regardless of how the city is viewed from everywhere else outside looking in. It's like $10 billion. That feels right. But for me, you had Luka over there, too. You have LeBron there. Obviously, Crypto just signed a big-time deal, even though they're not a company anymore. Like, it feels like the Lakers. Young coach. It feels like the Lakers brand was going to be expensive regardless. At $10 billion,
you get Luka, and then months later, you sell the team for $10 billion. I don't know what the correlation was there, but Jeanie Buss, my understanding.
Yeah, we were all talking about
DB,
that. Yeah.
My understanding is Jeanie Buss really drove the sale in terms of getting this arrangement in place, bringing it to her siblings. She's got 5 other siblings, so her and 5 other siblings, they kind of vote and figure out, is this exactly where we want to go? And so they had the majority of the siblings voted to go through with this deal. It wasn't unanimous, though, from my understanding.
Okay.
So there was at least one member of that sibling family, 6 siblings that voted no. But the majority vote was there. They make the sale, and everyone's been asking me why. Like why? $10 billion reasons.
It's a lot of money.
Like at the end of the day,
everything for sale for the right price.
If the Lakers are going to sell this team, UD, like they're going to do it when it's this much.
Yeah,
it's $10 billion.
If you get $1 billion valuation and you're a small business, normally you're going to at least sell a part of it.
No doubt about it.
That might be a little bit of a teaser for the off season here, but
up to something season.
Yeah, well, if you get $1 billion valuation, it is a. This is why the NFL, when the NFL allowed owners to sell a 10% to groups or investment or.
Are you trying to break some news, Pat?
No, I'm not personally. Maybe here in a little bit. There's certainly some snooping around going on by a lot of people with a lot of money, and I'll certainly be open to those conversations. But whenever the NFL allowed 10% to be sold to these funds, funds, these mega billion-dollar funds. It was like, hey, cash, like you can get 10% worth of your team right now in cash. You should do that. So whenever all these teams, I assume the NBA teams, I assume the NFL teams, NHL teams, I assume there's a lot of mega rich people. I think I saw a stat, and it was from Wealth's Instagram, so I don't know if it's true or not. It was like 1 in every 22 people in New York or something like that is a millionaire or worth like making hundreds of thousands.
That's probably right.
I think it's something like 1 in 222 people or something.
To live there.
One in 200. Like the amount of money some people have right now in sports franchises are becoming like hey, not only is it a cash cow.
That's the it thing.
Yeah,
that's
it's like everybody is trying to get into it. So if you're a Buss family and you're LA sitting on the Lakers, I couldn't even imagine the amount of funds and money that was trying to get in there for a long time. As soon as it cracks over 10 billion, at some point you just got to be like, we bought this thing for what, 40 million or something like that, Dad?
Yeah.
Dad bought this thing for 40-some million. We can sell this for $10 billion or 67.
Look at that,
67.5 million.
It's time.
We can get 10.1 billion because I assume there's been offers at 8 billion. I assume there's been 8.5, 9, 9.5. That thing gets at 10, 10.1. It's like, when do we?
You got the Lakers and the Celtics in the last few years that have been so like
I think 90 days apart.
Yeah, that's insane. Like two of the most iconic franchises in the NBA in sports, two of them, especially American sports. That's wild.
Well, when we hear all the time like these family-run businesses, like where it's been in the family for so long, they maybe don't want to sell because it means so much. Like this Walter, like he gets it. He owns the Dodgers. We've seen what he's been willing to do. The Dodgers have won, 11 of the last 12, divisions, the NL West. Like he's won multiple World Series. He's going out and he just gave Shohei Ohtani $700 million. Like this guy wants to win. He knows how to run one of these organizations. So if you're one of the Busses, it's like, okay, well, at least we're not going to sell the team and we're going to see everything that our dad and our family built up for all these years just go right into the shitter. That's not going to happen. Like this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I appreciate the like Josh Harris had it, right? Josh Harris had some other stuff, then you move into it. It's like you get in with a smaller percentage, learn how the game is operated, then you go.
Yeah, he's been there since 2021.
Right.
And the biggest thing there is he got right of first refusal when it comes to the overall sale. So he had the inside track the whole time when he got the 26% of the team in 2021. And that gave him every edge. And quietly, him, Jeannie Buss, people around Jeannie Buss, to be able to negotiate this deal to $10 billion. Again, that's an astronomical figure. I also would have to say one thing for the aggregators. Pat actually broke news with the newsbreaker here. He said, I'm open, so.
What's that?
I don't know. You said I'm open.
I own 100% of my business.
He definitely said that.
I'm open.
Definitely, I caught that.
Aggregate that, everyone, and I was here for it.
Now,
so
the
please,
aggregators will say, Pat McAfee thinks he owns his business, and they will bury me somehow in that whole thing. But I'm just telling you how it is. As a man that owns 100% of my business, if somebody was to show up and say, $10.1 billion valuation, and
where do I sign?
And I'm still the governor. And I'm still the governor.
Yeah.
And the Buss family can still negotiate. Yeah, still have a percentage of the team. You can still benefit from all the shit of being an owner.
Yeah.
While getting the cash out. No, I'm not saying the Lakers are ever going to go down. Not going to say that. But at $10.1 billion, the buy low, sell high thing. If you're viewing it as a business, that is a pretty high sale. That is not a bad decision. Now, with that being said, always open for business. I think people say I'm a good deal maker. If you're a good deal maker, and would certainly love to have that valuation. Certainly love to have that. Go ahead.
How real is that though? The still being a governor, still controlling it, because we saw that with Mark Cuban too. Once he sold, and they said he would be doing that, and I think he came out was like,
phased out.
I don't do shit. So how real is that in this situation?
Well, I think with this situation, it's a little bit different just because of the relationship that we see here between Jeannie Buss and Mark Walter. I mean, clearly the way that they negotiated this deal, this was set up. It was written. It was if it's not written in the contract, it's pretty blatant, and it seems like both sides are on the same page. And, when I checked in with people around Mark Walter, it's the same thing. Like, this is positioned for Jeannie Buss right now. But again, how long does it go, right? Like, at the end of the day, when you're buying a team for $10 billion, I don't know how long you're going to be sitting on the sidelines 100% for. This is the reality. That's something I'm hearing.
Agreed. Especially if you're a business person, you probably assume like, hey, I'm good at business. I might be able to be good at operating an NBA team too. And I just paid $10 billion valuation for it. And we've tried to do the math. I think you probably maybe gave an answer here, and I wasn't paying attention enough because I was talking to the back because my TV keeps going out. So I apologize apologize for
Again?
that. Yeah, but neither here nor there. Do we know the exact percentage he has? Is it like 70% of the company? Do we know the exact?
My understanding, he's buying over either at or over 50% initially.
Because he was already at like what 20% or something.
21.
He was at 26%.
So if they're keeping 17, I think AEG has some percentage as well. And then he's coming in. He's buying about 50%.
So 5.1, if we want to say the majority. So he had $5.1 billion he has in this thing. If Genie's doing a great job,
You would
I
assume as well. Another note, like whenever the Buss family eventually sells their 17%, it's going to be probably to Mark Walter.
Okay, so that is just, they still are owners, minority owners. He's now the majority owner. You're the governor. Unless I don't like you being the governor anymore, I owe $5.1 billion in this entire thing. Okay, we'll see you later. Congrats to the Buss family. Incredible business.
Yeah. $67.5 million to $10 billion.
Incredible brand build, too.
Yeah.
And watching that Showtime show that everybody said was bullshit with how the characters were, I think it still told a good story about building a brand and how Buss liked doing that and what he thought the show was supposed to be and what the NBA could be. Obviously, it's a beautiful story of a family business and a family going all in on a brand, and I love that type of stuff. And if you're gonna, I mean, how long do you want to be a governor of a team too? If you got $5.1 billion to your family over the last couple of years, I don't know either. How much are you signing
What's
up for?
that payout? Does anyone good at math? What's that payout for each sibling? So if there's 6 siblings,
Well, how much is it equally distributed? She's the governor, so I'd assume she potentially has a little bit. I mean, there is so many conversations to all that shit.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
like
how much do they
it's like
actually
half.
get?
I think it might be 300, 400, 500 million liquid potentially.
Wow.
Terrible deal.
Yeah, that sucks.
What a time. Good for the buses. Good for the buses.
Yes, sir.
We obviously all hope to do that for our kids someday. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Sean, let me just first say, your hair
Phenomenal.
now, it is it's perfect.
Hey, good fade,
I'll
too.
take it. I'll take it.
Good fade as well.
Yeah, I've been dragging. We've been on this finals grind.
Yeah,
You've been on the KD beat.
Yeah, you've looked like shit
I've been
the past
getting
couple
beat up.
times.
Getting beat up.
Yeah, people have been beating your ass.
Yeah, but it looks
Suit
great
looks
today.
I
good, too.
appreciate it,
Yeah, it's
BC.
finally, it's about time. It's the finals.
I'm not gonna lie. You. I said this last time. UD inspired me, so I got to give all the credit. I'm a good teammate. I'm willing to pass the credit.
Yeah.
UD's setting a high bar right now when it comes to fashion. I just
Like
got
20 years in the NBA.
I just got to say that.
Ring fashion as well.
I'm trying to get
culture as
I'm
well.
like you. I'm trying to get in those conversations.
Show the ring, UD. Show the ring.
I'm open to have those conversations. I got to dress the part. I can't just say that shit. I got to look like I'm ready to have them conversations. I got a ring right there.
That's ring culture, son of a...
So, just in case you need somebody to governor or own. I can do a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying?
But last time you were on the show, you did say something that maybe you didn't mean to say or kind of slipped out. You said the Spurs, with KD, of course, they're looking, but they might be looking at a different superstar. Timeline, yeah, they might be on a different timeline. The internet, especially the Spurs fans, kind of took that and ran with it. What the hell is Sham's talking about here? Let's say KD goes to Houston. What is the
or
Spurs?
Miami.
Or Miami.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Probably not Miami.
UD was going to get up and just.
I got a question after, but I got a question.
Yeah, but what is their timeline, if you will? If KD's off the table in the Spurs' mind, what is kind of
And when's the draft? Next week?
Next Wednesday, Thursday. Next Wednesday, Thursday.
Especially with that number 2 pick. Like, if they're going to make a move, they kind of need to do that before the draft. Right?
Number 2, I don't see going anywhere. I think the Spurs feel really good about number 2. I think Dylan Harper, he's already been, I'm told, to the Spurs facilities, met them in San Antonio.
Congrats, Dylan, number 2 overall pick in the NBA.
This month. But you never know with the draft. But that's what it looks right now. But for the Spurs, Victor Wembanyama, De'Aaron Fox, both in their 20s, in the prime of their career. My feel right now is that the Spurs, they have interest in Kevin Durant. They have talked to the Suns, to my understanding, about Kevin Durant, but there's a certain price threshold they'll go to for a guy like Kevin Durant, and if that price doesn't align with Phoenix's, then clearly there's just not going to be a deal. And if the Spurs are going to fully go all in, what they've done such a good job there, their general manager, Brian Wright, R.C. Buford, their CEO, they've stockpiled all their picks. They got De'Aaron Fox in a trade. They've got Stephon Castle, the reigning Rookie of the Year. They've got Victor Wembanyama. They've got different players that have value like Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, Devin Vassell. Those are the types of guys where if you're going to go all in, if there's a player that hits the market, we don't know yet which player could hit the market. These things could all be fluid. Luka Doncic got traded knowing, we didn't know about it till it happened. So they're waiting.
Who's we? Didn't know about it.
I didn't know about it till 5 minutes before. I'm not gonna lie to you.
And then everybody else didn't know until 6 minutes before.
Yeah.
6 minutes out.
Way to hang in the pocket there, by the way.
Yeah, you just kept giving a great take with a lot of names, very important stats and facts about what the future is for some people.
And then
they wanted to test you a little bit. That's adversity.
Yeah.
That's adversity.
We get through it.
That's journalism.
We get through it.
Sean.
We get through it. You know, we've been through the heat.
Yes, we certainly have.
Been through the heat.
Yeah.
Nice.
So getting.
There it is.
You got it.
I'm just a corny guy. You
punny son of a bitch.
I'm a corny guy.
All's fair.
But of course, if a Giannis Antetokounmpo hits the market, right, and if there's an interest level there, but what they're looking at is someone that hits their timeline potentially. That if you are going to go all in for, we feel really good about it. It's going to be a 5, 6, 7, 8 year window. Listen, they're on Kevin Durant's preferred list. Kevin Durant would like to play in San Antonio potentially, like he would in Houston, like he would in Miami. So, could the Spurs come back? For sure? But as of right now, everything I understand, they're not the most aggressive team in this. I think the focus over the last several days, the last week, has been Houston, Miami, and Minnesota.
My bad. Sorry, Giannis was the only other superstar you would say?
Well, he wants to know about the Celtics. That's all he wants to know.
That's the name you think about.
Just about the Celtics.
That's the name you think about.
Like there's a few teams.
Ja staying in 901.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, I know what you're trying to get. You're trying to get a Jaylen Brown, Derek White. Listen,
no.
I'm sure teams are throwing crazy offers for guys like Jaylen Brown and Derek White, but it'll take a pretty insurmountable package to get those guys out of Boston.
Ty has go ahead, you do.
I wouldn't do it. I want to see. This is the opportunity with unfortunate incident to Tatum. This is the opportunity for us to see, Boston to see, everybody to see if Jaylen Brown can lead your team. We saw what he was able to do in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, 2 years ago. We saw what he was able to do against Luka, setting the tone defensively, offensively as well. But now there's always this back and forth about 1A, 1B. Now we have the opportunity, and I do believe Jaylen Brown can do that. But give him the chance. Don't trade him now. This is his chance to show that he can lead the Boston Celtics.
Boston Connor actually thinks we're punting on this year. What are we doing? Let's go ahead and figure out what the future looks like.
I will say this. How the Celtics are operating in this space right now is that they're looking at next year as a retooling year.
What?
That's what Connor thinks too.
Me and Brad Stevens, man. We just get ball. We just know ball.
Great coach.
But that doesn't mean
just because the organization looks at it like that doesn't mean the players and the guys in that locker room look at it like that.
That doesn't mean you don't want to stay competitive. That doesn't mean you don't want to continue. But listen, realistically, without Jason Tatum, it's going to be tough.
No, I'm not saying they win a championship, but do you see that he has the leadership qualities and he can be the guy? There's no way they win without Jason Tatum, but he still has a chance to lead that team and be a good team.
Last question here from Ty Schmidt for you, Shams.
Speaking of the NBA draft, there's been a lot of stuff coming out about Ace Bailey, who a lot of people think is going to, be the number 3 overall pick, top 5 for sure. He went to Rutgers, with Harper. They didn't make the NCAA tournament. They actually kind of stunk, which is kind of crazy. A lot of people saying he might be a shitbird. But he's basically refusing to go work out for certain teams. I'm not saying it. That's what a lot of people are saying. Yeah, exactly. Okay. What is that whole situation like, and how uncommon is this for the NBA? Because we hear about this in the NFL a lot with players, most recently with Caleb Williams basically saying, like, hey, I'm not going to Chicago. But more often than not, that's BS, and guys do go where they're drafted. What is going on with Ace Bailey? Could this tank where he goes in the draft, or is he still seen as, he's a bona fide top 3, top 5 guy?
It's hard for me to sit here and say that his stock is going to completely tank, that, hey, he's going to fall dramatically, because for all we know, there might be a promise in place for him. Whether clearly it might not be Philadelphia at 3. So, yeah, he was supposed to go into Philadelphia today, visit with them all day today and tomorrow. Friday, he had a full-on session for him. He was supposed to be in Philly. I'm looking at the information I have. The 19th and the 20th, he was supposed to be in Philly. They had all of his flight arrangements set. They had dinner for him set. They had breakfast for him set. They had a workout session for him set. They had everything arranged for him. And he essentially bailed 2 days prior to the visit. Yesterday he canceled, from my understanding. And so the Sixers don't quite know what to make of it. I think people around the league don't really know what to make of it. To my knowledge, he hasn't gone in and visited with the team. So, yeah, it is it is unheard of to an extent for a player. He's the only U.S.-based player not to go visit a team, and we're 6 days away from the NBA draft. So yeah, it is uncommon, but I don't want to throw shade quite yet. There might be a method to the madness for him, but this is a player that I think between 3 and 8, I could see him going.
You said it may be a promise in place. How often does that happen in the NBA draft?
And who's guiding all this? Who's his rep? Is it Rich Paul? We know Rich. We know Rich runs the league.
No,
his representative, he's with someone, Omar Cooper is his agent of record. And Omar Cooper is the father of Sharif Cooper, who actually played in college, played a little bit in the NBA with the Atlanta Hawks, played in the G League. And you know, that's who's been dealing with NBA teams and guiding this process. And so promises are pretty typical. Now, a lot of the times they're hidden. They're kept under quiet. Sometimes you hear whispers about it.
Secret pinky promise.
But you don't know until draft night, all right, the promise was actually a promise. Because you also hear whispers, hey, this guy's got a promise here, but then it doesn't happen, right? So, but it is common. I don't want to say it happens like a dozen times every draft year, but there's always at least 2 to 4, every draft. I'm sure UD knows about some promises.
I don't know what you're talking about, Shams. That question was for you, not me.
Cowboys
I'm just
told
trying
me,
to test your loyalty right now.
Cowboys told me they were going to draft me. They lied. I assume teams in the NBA have lied.
Oh, they lied to you about
I had that.
Yeah.
I had that.
Yeah, I had a team tell me they were going to draft me.
Who told you that?
Seattle Supersonics. I never forget.
That's why they sent the team to Oklahoma City.
Wow.
Nate McMillan, and I love Nate. Nate, the OG. Nate McMillan was coaching the Seattle Supersonics. He told me, it's like, if you're available for our pick in the second round, we're taking you.
Yep.
And I was there.
So
I was available
you
for that
played
pick in
Seattle.
I never forgot it. Oh, listen, Shams, I never forget that kind of shit. Oh no.
He went to the complete opposite side of the country.
Yeah. I never
Much
forget.
better side.
And they took Reggie Evans. Reggie Evans, my dog, another Florida boy. So ain't no beef there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But they told me to my face, looked me in my eyes, and told me they were going to draft me.
Yeah, that happens a lot, I think. Yeah. So hopefully, Mr. Cooper and old buddy down there have a solid promise.
Maybe there's a method to the madness.
Only
time will tell.
I would hope so. I would hope so. As a young fella with talent coming into this league, you don't want to start off with, negative, energy with other teams. You don't know if
teams
5 years from now.
Though. Teams are perplexed. They don't know what's going on.
Because you don't know if 5 years from now, this is a team that might want to give you $200-300 million. Yeah. Like you don't know. So just keep your face clean, young fella. That's all. Keep your face clean out here.
OGUD with the little bit of advice, and Shams Sharani with the info. We appreciate the hell out of you. You look incredibly clean today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Finals Game 6, and that's Shams Sharani.
Baby Shams.
Appreciate you, Shams. As we pivot away from NBA Insider, let's head to, that was better. Yep, got it. Oh, you wanted to try to do the Memphis hotel lady?
Yours is the one I saw, the one from like 2020.
Me and the hotel lady. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was great. She was really good. I think I took somebody else's sound. Oh, we have no sound. We need sound on that.
Oh, Justin, I found you, baby. Hey. I got you. Hey. I got you.
That's me in Memphis having a good time, taking somebody else's room reservation.
Yep.
As you heard it there, I got you, Justin. She said, that's a white name. Let me give it to this guy. And that was not my room reservation, but I definitely took it. But that was one of the cleanest daps in history. A lot of chat about Memphis. We had great times down in Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
Great times.
We had great times down in Memphis.
I love Memphis.
Now, joining us now is a college basketball coaching legend. Great Memphis.
Great times in Memphis.
Yeah, great times.
Yeah.
Western Pennsylvania legend. Paisan Supreme. Ladies and gentlemen, the Arkansas men's basketball coach, national champion, Hall of Famer, Coach Calipari.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Paisan?
And remind them that the Nets fired me.
Yeah,
please tell everybody that.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the Wikipedia. I saw the Nets thing, I saw the Sixers assistant, and then I saw the overall record, then I saw the college record. Feels like you were more suited for the college game, but you certainly know the NBA game. A lot of your guys obviously go on to take over the NBA. Let's talk about SGA. When he was playing college ball, did you know he was about to become an MVP? Did you know he was about to put an entire state and a city on his back whenever you were watching him and when you met him?
Well, let me just say this. I've coached 2 MVPs, Derrick Rose and Shea. Both had the same DNA. Unbelievable teammates. So Shea won't do an interview unless his teammates are around. Derek wouldn't take a picture unless his teammates were around. You'll never hear a player that played with them ever say a bad word because they're great teammates. They were both wired and driven, one by trying to prove himself, I'm better than you think, the other trying to live up to what he was. Different players. Derek was speed, would kill you, and his quick bounce and floaters, and Shea more of a pace game that just goes and gets buckets, but plays a good floor game too. But it's amazing, Shea did not start for me for 8 games, 9 games. And when I called him in and said, you need to be starting, and he said, I'm good, coach, I trust you. Just tells you about what he is.
Yeah, he bought Rolexes for the whole team whenever he won the MVP. They've seen so many of those moments, and he's just a bucket getter. I mean, an insane bucket getter. Now, it feels like this Oklahoma City team has a college-like vibe whenever you watch it, from the fan base to the way it's coached to the way they play. Do you agree with that sentiment? And do you think there's more of that happening in the NBA now?
Well, the NBA goes through cycles of what works, and they change. But I was in Oklahoma City for Game 3. Or maybe it was Game 2, whichever game it was. It's a college environment. And then the way they play, you talk about come at you so many ways. Caruso. Look, the game I was there, Williams had 3 points. 3. Never said a word and gets 40 in the last game because of how they play. And they play off of one another. They seem to really enjoy competing. Not just, they're like, I'm locking you down. And Indiana's doing the same. You got to give them credit to be where they are. That one game, man, took the wind out of their sails, but it'll be interesting tonight.
Yeah, and I believe is there a story between you and Tyrese Halliburton? I don't recall.
Yeah, didn't recruit him.
Yeah, you said you thought he was a bum. You thought he was a bum. That's I believe the way.
I did not. But he went to the right place, and I'll tell you what, the things he's doing, I hope he's healthy for this game. Casey Wallace was starting, played for us. You still have Jay Will and Isaiah Joe from Arkansas. Isaiah Jackson played for me. He's with the Indiana Pacers. He's hurt right now. He's recovering from his injury. But no, going to the games. And how about you watch Shea sign 400 autographs after warming up and getting ready for a championship game?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
it just shows what he is. He's different.
He's
different
great
soul.
Great superstar. The future is in a great spot. Darius Butler has a question for you, Coach Cal.
Yeah, Coach, you've been coaching dynamic players for a long time going into the draft. We just had a conversation about Ace Bailey, kind of going unconventional with his route. What are those conversations like when players reach out and lean on you for advice? And do you have any stories from the past with a specific player at the top of the draft?
Well, first of all, I can tell you, sitting at that table is the worst thing in the world because you don't know, because everybody's lying.
Yeah.
So you don't know where the kid's getting drafted.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had multiple players say, I'm not being drafted by that team. I've already told them. And I'm like, are you nuts? That's 3 picks down. Why would you? Because I'm not going there. And you know what? They were right and I was wrong. When Karl Towns was getting drafted, the Lakers wanted him. The Lakers wanted him, and they were the 2 pick. And I said, you may want to be the 2 pick and be in L.A. and, Minnesota. He said, no, I'll wear a coat. I want to be the number 1 pick. And he enjoyed his time there. And but, yeah, there are stuff. I remember with Keldon Johnson, we waited till the end of the draft. I'm sick. I'm on the phone. I'm calling people. And you know what? He ends up in San Antonio, the best place in the world he can. It doesn't matter when you're drafted, it's where you go. And he now is going to have a long career. He's wearing a cowboy hat and big boot. He wears cowboy boots. I mean, what?
Perfect home. Perfect home for him. The universe of God works in magical ways. Draft nights can be very long, especially, you say everybody's lying. They do that in the NFL as well.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever there's like a promise made in the NFL, it's like, that's not real. In the NBA, it sounds like the exact same. UD has a question for you, Coach.
Hey, Coach, man, just want to give you your flowers, man. Huge fan of everything you've been able to accomplish in the game of basketball. But my question is to you, if being a guy who's been around so long and had to go through the recruiting process, as we transition into the NIL and different things like that, you having your old school mentality and your old school flavor, how has that transition been for you? Because, you know, it's a little bit more different what guys are looking for now when they're looking for colleges. At my time, it was just looking for a great coach and somebody who could put me in a position to make it to the next level. There's other things that come into play now. These guys are a brand and a lot of different things. So how were you able to make that adjustment?
Well, let me say this. There will be coaches that would pay more than I would be willing to pay. But I'm telling kids, you don't want to trip over nickels trying to get to $200 million. Mm-hmm. And you pick the right school. Don't let it overwhelm you with the money. Can I throw a humble brag out there?
Absolutely.
Please, please, yes.
Okay, my guys have made $6 billion in the year.
That's crazy. Yes.
So $6 billion. So when I say that, if you're willing to take an extra $800,000 to go, and you're telling me you want to be a pro, have at it. I'm not. And I don't begrudge anybody. DeMarcus Cousins told me back in the day, he said, what should I do? Should I put my name in the draft? I said, if you want to do what's right for you and your family, you put your name in that draft. Do you want to do what's right for me and my family? Why don't you stay for a couple more years? And so this thing, I just wish they could not transfer. They should be able to go once, maybe twice, without penalty, because the coach lied. Told him you're shooting every ball. I'm going to play you this way. And he didn't tell them the truth. Then they should be able to leave. But 4 times, that means the first sign of trouble, I'm out.
Yes.
And you can't.
Second sign of trouble, I'm out.
Yeah.
Third sign of trouble, I'm out. 4th sign of trouble, I'm out. That's setting a bad precedent for life, I think.
There you go. If you're a parent, wouldn't you tell your son, no, you're fighting this, you're fighting this out. You're not, no, you're staying, you're going to do it. Now, I understand once or twice without penalty, but after that, don't tell me, well, we'd get sued. A kid transferring 4 times, 1, it's not good for him. 2, he has no chance academically to do anything. And I think we're still academic institutions. Take it to court. You can win that.
Yeah.
But if we get that in order, I think the NIL stuff would be fine. Because right now, you got, the quarterback from Vanderbilt. Was it on this show?
No, it was on Bussin' with the Boys, $4.5 million.
To just put his name in the. Well, that's tampering. That's tampering.
No.
Put your name in the portal, $4.5 million. We got to get away from that more than the NIL.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. We're coming up on
it. Hold it. Adu Thiero. If anybody misses that, it's going to be like they missed on. You ready?
Yeah.
Emmanuel Quickly.
Okay.
I've gone through when they missed.
What do you say?
Adu Thiero is a first-round draft pick, and I'm going to tell you why. The league, I love the physicalness of the league right now.
Absolutely.
I love it. Because you got to work to get a basket. It ain't horse anymore. You can't shoot. It is, you got to get, and someone better screen because the guy's holding like that.
Yeah,
all that stuff. A dude can play in a physical game and athletically be in the top 1%. He's somebody, if you pass on, they'll look back and say, how many people passed on him?
Hey,
He's
Coach.
that good and a good kid. From Pittsburgh.
Love that.
He's from Pittsburgh.
Draft him. You're always recruiting, always selling, always coaching, always sticking up for your guys. You're the man. We appreciate the hell out of you. Hour 2 on the other side of this break. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. We have an opportunity to give away $75,000 to a kid named Daniel Villasenor.
Absolutely.
You're a sophomore, correct?
Yeah.
What is your major?
Civil engineering.
Okay, so what's that mean? What is civil engineering?
I don't really know.
Have you ever kicked a ball before?
I have.
When? Were you a soccer player?
Soccer player, yeah.
Okay, how were you at kicking soccer balls? Pretty good?
I was okay. I was good.
Have you ever said anything negative about football kickers?
Maybe once or twice.
Daniel! Damn, Daniel! We don't need that! You make a field goal here from 33 yards uphill. You're the civil engineer. You'd have to tell me, I think it's about a 40-yard kick. If you're able to do that, we will give you $75,000.
All right.
He's got no laces.
Yeah, what do we got going here? Can we get a shot of the shoes?
What time?
Hey, a shot of the shoes.
Daniel showed up in his Vans with no laces. What time did you get here for this?
About 11:40 last night.
You need a lot of power.
Good luck, Daniel.
I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it. Wait a second.
Just like everything this morning, that was a surprise. We did not expect that.
Let's go. We got to do
one more kick for $100,000.
You got this, dude.
Let's go. How about this, Daniel? How about this, Daniel? Not only is this one for $100,000, if you make it, we'll add another $100,000 to the $500,000 donation we're about to make from College Game Day to the hurricane relief. It could be $600,000 if you make this, with $100,000 going into your pocket. Daniel, this is bigger than you. Let's make a kick, bro.
Way to overcome the shoes here. That was a heck of an effort. Come on, you got this.
In Berkeley, California.
You got it.
Oh! Hell yeah!
Great job.
Damn, Daniel! Damn, Daniel! All right. What just happened? Are you kidding me?
It's fun, man. 11:40 he was there.
I know. $600,000 to hurricane relief. $100,000 to Daniel. What a morning in Berkeley. Way to go, Daniel.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey, let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
McAfee on the line with a gorgeous assist.
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers.
You ping!
Damn it! Your friend tell a friend something nice could change their life. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. The host of tonight's Game 6, Hour 2, starts now.
Finals!
Welcome back to 20-year NBA vet, 3-time NBA champion, Udonis Haslem. Still got the quickness.
Baby, you do.
Still got the quickness. I saw him scale 8 stairs here and then hover above the stage to get to his seat in less than a second and a half as this show was about to kick off Hour 2. We appreciate you, UD. 9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler is here. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer, Dahn.
Nailed it.
You saying dang?
What are you saying?
I said damn that time.
I love that.
I done hit it with the dang, the damn. Which one is it?
All of them.
Okay.
Hammer, damn is actually pretty
like
sweet.
that one.
Yeah, it's not bad. Every once in a while, it's a hammer damn. Every once in a while, it's a hammer wow. Every once in a while, it's a hammer that. Tonight, the Pacers plus 6.5 at home for Game 6 of the NBA Finals. The stage has gotten set. The T-shirts have been handed out and delivered to all of the seats here in Gamebridge Fieldhouse. The proverbial ceremonial Game 6 feels like it is on the precipice of being iconic. Dare we all say epic?
Sure.
How do you feel tonight's game goes, and what are the betting lines saying about how tonight's Game 6 should go? Because the sports books surprisingly enough, over the last few games, have been dead on.
Yes,
with how everything's going to go.
Yeah, it's Thunder are -6.5 tonight. It's the same line as Game 4, where the Thunder covered by a point or so based on the free throw competition that happened at the end of that game. The total for this game is 221. It's been around that this whole series. As we know, we talked about it, the last couple of weeks or whatever. This 6.5 as a home dog is the biggest. It's it's been in the. It doesn't say a lot about the respect the sportsbooks have for the Pacers, but they've been disrespected this entire playoff run, so it's nothing new for them. I would hammer the Pacers tonight. We talked about everything that we saw from Storm last night, the flags flying, we believe signs coming in. They really spoke to me a bunch coming in. Something that you got to take. You can't just take what is going to happen on the court in. You got to take everything else around.
Yeah, we got to let the universe talk to us.
Bingo, especially in situations like this. What?
You saw the Pacers flag
I
flapping.
know, man. And as Tony's going through all the stuff, all I'm thinking is every time I place bets based on shit that I see, making me think that it affects the basketball on the court, I always lose.
But think about the court. We saw this Pacers team down 2, last game, which out of nowhere. They were, they're getting their asses kicked the entire time, and then they're down 2 out of nowhere, and that didn't work out. I have a question for you, D.
It's Matherin's birthday.
Because I know.
Talk to me.
Yes.
Talk to me.
I know Tricky Ricky threw a zone at you guys in the final.
Yes, he did.
You think there's a chance with Tyrese's injury potentially tonight, so that he's not in so many actions? There's a chance we may see a little zone tonight out of the Sirs?
That is a great question, by the way. This guy knows this.
Knows ball.
He knows
He was going for a 1-3-1 yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, it was. We're trapping the corners.
Mm-hmm. There is definitely going to be some zone to protect Holly out there tonight. He's going to just to throw him off pace a little bit, preserve that calf a little bit. This is a team that likes to get up and down. He knows they're going to attack him in every action. So Tricky Ricky's definitely going to come with his zone. What kind of zone? I don't know. Is it a 2-3? Is it a 1-3-1?
Which one would you do if you're playing against SGA, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams?
I'm going with a 2-3 because I like 2 guys at the top of that key there. So if they do set a screen, you just pass them along to the
maybe a boxing one.
Yeah.
Oh,
that takes a lot. You got to work on that. It's hard to throw a boxing one right in the finals if you haven't worked on it. But I think they can throw a 2-3 out there because if you set a screen for SGA, the other guy's just going to pass them to the other guy. The problem is if you set a screen in the 2-3, if he splits and goes down the middle of the 2 guys. So you got to have good communication. You got to have great communication. People think 2-3 zone is lazy defense. You actually have to work harder in the zone because how much communication you have to have against the zone.
That's always a fallback in the men's league. Somebody's getting cooked. All right, let's go 2-3. Let's go 2-3. But why doesn't zone work on real high level basketball? You don't see much on the high level D1 or in the NBA for extended periods of times. Why is that? Because everybody just shoots so damn good?
Because they get it. After a while, they get the rhythm of it. Mm-hmm. So it's literally only used for a couple minutes just to throw the team off, throw the offensive rhythm off, get them out of the rhythm. Then you go right back to a man. It's kind of like chess.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? You just want to distract them a little bit, throw them a little illusion, make them think we're in a man, but we're really in the zone. Everybody's still standing in their spots. And then when they finally figure out the zone, you go back to the man.
Is it because everybody can score now? Not that everybody couldn't score back then.
It's because everybody can't guard now.
Okay.
When I came in the league, you had to guard your yard. If you couldn't guard, you couldn't play. Because there was no, fast-paced run to the three-point line. No, it's find the weak link, and we're going to go at him every single time until your coach takes you out. There was no guys that were just making threes and, he can score, and he's going to just let him score. No, if you couldn't guard, those old men in that league, Derek Coleman, them kind of guys, they're going to go at your ass every time. They're going to punish your ass, and your coach going to take you out.
Yeah, milk check, brother. We do that in the NFL as well. I mean, there is one of my favorite moments in my rookie year was watching some shit number jog onto the field in the fourth quarter and go, I think they were playing corner outside or something like that.
39 corner.
Peyton's actual head. Peyton's gigantic helmet. He always knew everything that was going on. Soon as this poor soul jogged onto the field, you literally watched his head the whole time. Just watch him jog all the way over and line up. And then it was like, okay, yeah, hey, and it was just bow, 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 bow. You guys do that in the NBA as well?
Hell yes.
Okay, is that you asked about this in the first hour. Tyrese Halliburton on defensive side, he's not normally known to be a defensive lockdown. Had a lot of blocks though. Starting to pick up some blocks, starting to get some
efforts there.
I'll give you an interesting statistic about Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay.
Up until the finals, he was he was giving up 40% on individual defensive possessions. So he wasn't as bad as people thought.
So hold on, is that good or bad? I don't think I know what normal is.
That's pretty decent. He was around 38-39% in ISO situations. So at 39% they were scoring.
Yeah,
so
but what's normal?
Well, I mean, if you're getting cooked, then the guy's scoring on you like 60, 70% of the time.
Okay.
That's you got to take your ass out by that. But if you're around 38, 39%, I mean, you're pretty much holding your own.
So that's maybe not a good narrative about Tyrese Haliburton.
Yeah, that's not a good narrative. I mean, he's not the greatest defender, but he's a capable defender. But if you're looking at that lineup, then he's the guy you want to attack. You don't want to attack Nembhard. You don't want to attack Naismith. You don't want to attack Siakam. You don't want to attack Miles Turner because I think he's giving up crazy numbers in one-on-one. Like nobody's really scoring on him. His offense is struggling, but defensively he's been on point.
Block party.
So there's none of those guys that you want to attack. So you look at that and you're like, him. That's the guy. That's the duck. We like to call it the duck. Not that Tyrese Haliburton is a duck. Haliburton is a duck at all. But when you're in an NBA locker room, you attack the duck.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the lingo.
Yeah,
Stop the bleeding.
and whenever you do you know the refs? So, like for instance, Nembhard. There's a chance Nembhard, he plays sound defense.
Sticky.
Yes. Yeah, I mean he's on there. But the refs can change. He gets 2 fouls early. All of a sudden, you got to change the entire game plan. Do you know going into a game how the refs are probably going to call it on defensive end?
I'm gonna give you a quote from a little heatism, and LeBron James used to say this all the time. Don't look at the refs. They can't help us. They can't hurt us. We don't even give a damn. We didn't even look at I don't care who's refereeing. It doesn't matter.
Really?
It does not matter. Why? They're going to look at the refs to help us win? Can't do nothing for us. So it doesn't matter who is refereeing.
So every ref could call a tight game. Every ref could call a loose game.
Yes, every ref could call a tight game. Every ref could call a loose game. You adjust throughout the game. But, I mean, at the same time, you come in with your mentality is the refs can't help us, can't hurt us. It doesn't matter who's reffing this damn game, fellas. Don't even let that creep into our mind. Because there's some refs where you look at it, you're like, oh, we got him tonight. Already you blew it. Already your mental has gone far away from where it needs to be.
How long does that take to figure out into a game like, okay, they're calling it, is it the first 4 minutes?
Yeah, you can usually tell the first couple minutes. And I'll tell you one thing, and this helped, because when I first got into the NBA, I couldn't get a call. I couldn't buy a damn call. I don't know if it was the braids or the tattoos. I definitely wasn't this domesticated. Coach Riley called me in his office, and he gave me 3 pages with every official, their face, and their names. He said, learn every effing guy's name and address them as, hey, such and such, instead of saying ref, official, they're official. He's like, they're never going to give you a damn call. You keep calling them ref or official. He literally gave me a list, and I literally had to learn every single referee's name. And when the game started, Monty, whatever it was.
Yeah, money, giving them money. Monty, who I just saw in the airport. Monty. I mean, all these different refs. I address these guys on a first-name basis. Yeah, I feel like in the NBA, it becomes a personal relationship with them. You know, you're around each other a lot, very close to the action, and also a part of the show, you know? Like, you guys are, I mean, the intimacy of the fans with the game is insane. Yeah. I mean, you're literally in it. Yes. You're on the stage with everybody. The refs are a part of it. The refs are getting it. The refs are getting booed. The refs are maybe playing to it a little bit with the way they're doing it. They're a part of the show. Feels like they're, you know, a very huge part of the NBA as a whole. Maybe a casual would know the name Scott Foster. Like, obviously would
Tony
know.
Brothers.
Yeah, Tony Brothers would know these names. It's like they become stars. Like in the NFL, obviously, Hockey Lee, Steratore, these guys have been able to get over because of who they're known. But it's not every ref. Feels like in the NBA, every ref is pretty well known.
Yes, and I'm going to tell you something about these refs. A lot of these guys, you talk about the Scott Foster.
Do they work every game?
Brothers.
They're working. These guys are working
when you get to this level and you're looking at the finals and different things, you're going to see Scott. You're going to see Tony Brothers. Those guys have earned that right to ref these finals. But these are also guys who have made mistakes in games, and they'll come back and they'll see me like 5 or 6 games later and be like, you know what, you were right. I missed that one.
Got it.
And that right there is a whole different. I respect that. And then I went back to Monty one time because I got on his ass. I went back to him the next game and I said, you know what? I was wrong.
Yeah, I respect that.
Before I said that, he was about to tell me I was wrong. He was already about to come with me in the same conversation. But these are the things that can help you slightly, just having a conversation and just a relationship.
How frustrating is it, though, when, like, early on, and like we saw earlier in the series, like, it's super physical, and they're kind of just letting them play. And then all of a sudden, at some point, it's like, yeah, you know what? This is getting a little too out of hand. And then it gets super ticky-tack. And it's like, well, you know, like the style we were playing 5 minutes ago and for the whole first half, like now we can't do it. Like, is there anything you can do for that? Or is it kind of just, hey, we got to roll with the punches now?
Eliminate all distractions. It's too important of a moment. We can't allow you to be distracted for at least 30 seconds. You cannot lose focus for at least 30 seconds. There's going to be so many damn highs and lows, so many things that are out of your control. Control what you can control. The team that's going to win is the team that stays even right here. Stay all the way through. So when all of that happens, it doesn't matter, man. I literally, and it's crazy to say this because there's so many things that you think can impact the game, but if you really just say none of that shit matters, we're going to play the game for 48 minutes and let the chips fall where they may, you'll get through so much
great
adversity.
Player mindset. I'll tell you what, as a fan watching, they do matter.
Yeah, it's tough.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, from an attic in Ohio, is a man who I assume had a great relationship with the officials. There was a video of him flipping off the sideline. Everybody thought he was doing that to an official. Yeah. There was also other motions, obviously, that have been done by this man on a football field. He's the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, A.J. Hawk is here.
Hey,
Hawker, how you doing? You're glowing. How are you?
I'm doing great. You guys look good. Obviously, UD is dressed beautifully and looks amazing. So, yeah, he's a very, very classy gentleman.
Yeah, he's super professional. Are you making fun of the rest of us? Sounds like that was what that was.
I mean, look at me. I'm wearing a sweatshirt, UD. I have no room to speak. But, yeah, I love guys that can put it together, and he sounds great.
Hey,
Holy hell.
Well, Hawk, I tell you what, you the only guy that called me and said it's beautiful, and I was actually, I appreciated it.
When he complimented you?
Yeah, that was the first time that happened. I appreciated that.
Well, look at A.J. Hawk and top of Field of Pain Bridge.
Hey.
AJ, good for you, man. Everybody's taking a photo of you just chilling up there. Big smiles, big smiles.
Give him a hype speech. AJ, get him.
AJ, the people are wondering what you have to say about the Indiana Pacers tonight in Game 6.
Oh, yeah. You know, I love these. I love giving these, especially the one shot. The old one shot on the motivational speeches. Yeah. Guess what, boys? You don't need nothing needs to be said. Their backs are against the wall. Yeah. We've heard T.J. McConnell. He said, hey, we're going to give everything we have tonight and go bring home a victory and take this thing to Game 7.
Yes. When T.J. said, you got to believe it.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, AJ?
Yeah, keep going.
Anything else?
This one shot on the Jumbotron is a little bit overkill, but, you know, hey, here we go. We're all here today, guys.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, UD? You made a good point.
I would say if TJ said, you got to believe it. I mean, this is a guy who's talking about, like, look where he's come from and look what he's been able to do and how he's been able to impact this series. I mean, come on, man.
What's happening?
AJ always hovering.
That wide shot is just perfect.
That wide shot.
Always hovering. All right, AJ, let's talk about some NFL news that is happening on this NBA Finals Game 6. You're doing a great job. Thank you for joining us, AJ. You are glowing on this TV. I don't know about all the others. You look magnificent. Big news, C.J. Mosley retiring from the NFL after an incredible career, obviously linebacker.
Yeah, great career.
AJ, your thoughts on C.J. Mosley? And obviously, this is another legend retire. Every time a legend retires that I remember watching, you know, I'm like, man, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
You know, that's what especially because I feel like I've experienced his entire career as a fan of his.
Pro Bowl with him.
Man.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, like very, like I feel like an old man here. AJ, your thoughts on C.J. Mosley calling it?
I mean, this dude was a monster. From the day he stepped into the league, I feel like he was a premier linebacker, making plays all over the place. I loved watching film of him and what he was able to do. The guy can move and super physical, a guy that can play, you know, all four downs as well. And is it true that he was trying to get back to Baltimore, but because of his neck, he couldn't get cleared to play?
Yeah, I guess there was some sort of contact, communications, and then ultimately they wouldn't pass a physical or something like that.
Yeah.
Man.
I
hate that for him.
Yeah,
I hate that for him. Obviously, I assume whatever he does next, he's one of those guys that I feel like he was a pro from day one. Like, you looked at him like this guy was squared away. He was a great leader. And I know the guys that played with him, like wherever he was, they loved this dude. Obviously a scary dude roaming the middle, like an old school type dude. So I have tons of respect for him.
Yeah, thumper. Yeah, C.J. Mosley, a lot of years in the league. That Baltimore I mean –
yeah, they're making moves.
Yeah,
they really are.
They are making moves. Obviously, you have a dynamic quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I always say a team don't have a chance if they don't have a quarterback. They got a great culture from the top down in that building. And I love when we've seen it, especially more recently, the best team just continue to take shots to get better, whether it's the Bills, whether it's the Chiefs, making these type of moves. So adding Jair Alexander yesterday to that secondary, I forgot they even drafted Malachi Starks in the first round, which is a phenomenal talent coming in to the league. And then you pair him up with Marlon Humphrey, who's one of the best slot defenders in the league, Nate Wiggins, dynamic young corner on the outside, and Kyle Hamilton, who can do everything in that secondary. So Chuck Pagano, I know he's happy about it. I know defensive coordinator Zach Orr going into, I believe, his third year as a DC over there. I know he's happy about it. I know Baltimore. I know Ravens flock are happy about it. And I know I would assume that their Super Bowl odds are pretty good right now.
Yeah, Kyle Hamilton actually spoke to the media about Chuck Pagano and gave us a great quote about our coach.
Yeah, I think every time he says something in the meeting room with all the DBs, it's kind of like he's just dropping knowledge. Like, he's forgotten more football than a lot of people know. So to have somebody in the room like that, and Donald too, who's been doing a great job. honestly, he gets through those installs like a pro. It's impressive. But no, they're both doing a great job so far. But back to Chuck, I think he's accomplished everything in this game besides winning the Super Bowl. So he's voiced that, and we want to get that not only for us but for him too. Guys like him who haven't been able to reach that pinnacle. So he's just a great guy to have, and really happy about the room right now.
D-Bud, obviously we were incredibly lucky to be coached by Chuck, but he views himself as a secondary coach, always has. Obviously a high-flying safety out of Wyoming himself as a college ball player. Him not having the Super Bowl ring is what haunts him. He leaves Baltimore to become the Colts head coach. Baltimore wins the Super Bowl that next year, so he kind of feels like he misses out with the team that he was with. Whenever he was talking with us, obviously he had so much respect for the game, but it felt like he was still committed fully to being a coach in the NFL. Now he's coaching over there, and one of his best players, Kyle Hamilton, comes out and talks about him like that. I love that for Chuck, legitimately.
You love when one of your young studs is singing your praises like that, because one of the knocks on older coaches is can they connect with the younger guys, because the game changes so much. I think it was Cooper Kupp. He was in an interview with somebody talking about just how in the last few years he's been in the league, how much defenses have changed. You mentioned his commitment to it, even not having a headset on, still being with the 33rd team and still being on calls, watching films, being up to date with injuries, guys coming out. So he stays locked in with everything, and he's a DB guy through and through. Like, he loves the secondary play, so I love the versatility. And when you have a former head coach that's coming back into a position coaching role, like you already know that guy is super overqualified for that position, so everything he says, you're going to take it and run with it.
I appreciate that Chuck Pagano's getting some love, and I also appreciate the fact that he's back into the grind.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen, he's been skipping around. They had him a mic'd up segment, I guess. Somebody tweeted me about it and told me about it, where he was mic'd up and he's just like, you see like a 25-year-old out there flying. His energy's infectious, AJ. His energy is infectious, and I'm happy as hell for him. And that Ravens team, yeah, it feels like they're very good.
Can be a problem.
UD, it sounds like UD's big fan of the Ravens. I did not know that was the case.
I mean, South Florida, Lamar Jackson. I keep up with everything that come from the South. And anything that come out of Florida, I'm a fan.
Boom.
Yeah, anything that come out of Florida, I'm a fan. So,
Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champions.
Oh, for sure.
Congratulations.
Two of the greatest Ravens, too. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis.
My God.
You know what I mean? Willis McGahee, because
Kyle Bowler.
Man, goodness.
Yeah, of course.
They got D-Hop now. The glory days, man. Take me down the rabbit hole.
Miami's going to get back to that.
The Hurricanes?
Yeah.
Or the Dolphins?
Both.
How come the UM fans don't show up for the games, UD?
Huh?
How come the Miami fans don't show up?
I heard it's because it's off campus. Is that why?
I'm going to tell you, I can't speak now. When I was growing up, we used to go to the Orange Bowl, and it was a whole experience. It was a whole experience. The people cooking outside, you get the Spanish food, it was a whole experience now. I just don't think the culture is the same as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? They moved it, and I think once you moved it from the Orange Bowl, I think things started to change when it came to the Hurricanes and the fan base. Now for the Dolphins, they've been in the same damn place the whole time. I don't have no answer for that. I'm trying to sit up here. Maybe D-Buck can help me understand what the hell going on. No, I'm a fan to the core. I mean, I sit at home, and it's weird. Don't judge me. I sit at home, I have no shirt on, and I put my helmet. I watch the game just like this.
Love that.
Love it. Just drink popping wood.
That's unbelievable.
I got a real Dolphins helmet with a visor, and I sit down with my helmet and my visor with no shirt on, and I watch the damn game. This is how I watch on Sunday.
Hell yeah.
So you're doing like helmet up, bottle spray?
Yeah, I do. I take the helmet up, I get a drink, and I put it back down. And I'm clipped up, too. My shit ain't hanging to the side like I ain't getting in. That shit clipped on like I'm finna go in. Like, call my number. Shit, I'm going to hit somebody.
Popping wood. We want to lay wood around here.
We've been waiting a long time. And if you look at the other organizations down there, the Miami Heat been one, long tradition. We talk about Heat culture. The Marlins, they have their run and they broke up the team or whatever. The Panthers now, they're like the dynasty in hockey across sports. You look at that team.
Miami.
So Inter Miami bring Messi over.
The Lightning.
But I mean, you bring it out. Lightning out there. That's Tampa Bay. I'm talking about crib. So for the Dolphins to be 26 years now without having a playoff win like that's tough, especially being in South Florida where hockey's great, basketball, everything's great, but football is king in South Florida. So we're waiting to get it figured out. We'll see if they will. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, not to mention what's going on in the division here now. The Bills are the Bills. The Pats with Vrabel on the way back up. The Jets, I'm not going to say they're on the way back up, but Aaron Glenn in there kind of doing his whole entire thing. I mean, Miami might be all the way back to 2000 what? 12.
Cleo Lemon Dolphins.
Yeah.
Nah, we still got pieces. We still got
Don't do that. We got
I'm just saying, like all of a sudden,
McDaniel will be able
people
to do
believe in him
stuff.
still, right?
No, listen, we got pieces, man. You know what I'm saying? We bring back Waldo. We got Tua, see if he can stay healthy. Coach McDaniel, I love the creative that he has offensively. I think the defense was something that we had to figure out a little bit. You know
Tyreek's real fast, which leads into what's going on, though, Lyles. Hey, what's the deal here?
Oh, yeah, that was crazy. What happened with that?
Well, you know what happened.
10-1-5.
A lot of people said we hope he's okay. Obviously, we saw him go through some stuff at the Olympics and
got COVID
and everything like that.
And he still raced though.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So he was going to race Tyreek Hill, I believe. AJ, I don't know. This has been years in the making. Remember, Tyreek and Bolt were even in conversations with maybe racing as, all the track guys talk to athlete guys as if they're not as fast as track guys. And then when track guys are actual football guys, they get very comfortable and confident in speaking and talking shit to the track people, which is Tyreek Hill, I believe, in this particular case. Actual track guy who chose football, basically. And he ran a 10-1-5, right, the other day with a GoPro on his chest. And before he takes off, he actually says, let's have fun doing it. Hey, let's go viral, boys. Let's have fun doing it. And then he 10-1-5 out the gate. Crazy. And then all of a sudden the race is called off. So a lot of people immediately say, hey, Noah Lyles is backing off here. But maybe. I
got to say this. And my wife will kill me if I don't tell the truth. And I love Tyreek because he's a Dolphin. Noah Lyles will blow a 10-1-5 out the water in the 100. In the 100, he's blowing that shit out the water. This is where Tyreek has a chance. They were supposed to run a 50, correct?
50 or 60. Yeah, I think.
Tyreek has a chance in a 50 or 60 because Noah Lyles' weakness is his start. As he starts to pick up in 100, this is where his strength is.
Yes.
But his weakness is his start. If you watch Noah Lyles, the thing that he works on a lot is his start. So in a 50 or a 60, Tyreek has a chance. In 100,
how much money do you think has to be?
They need it on grass too.
How much money? Yeah, with spikes. How many? Cleats. Sorry. How much money you think has to be put up for them to actually race?
$5 million.
500,000.
I say a couple $100,000. I say a couple $100,000.
What's that, AJ?
True. It's a no-win situation for Noah Lyles. Like, if he wins, people are saying, of course you should win. If he loses, like, how do you lose to a football player?
Yeah, forever. And then football people to track people forever.
Oh. This will kind of shut that conversation up forever, though. Because if you beat, I would say Tyreek is our fastest. We call him Cheetah.
Best representative.
Yeah, he would be the best representative for a long time. So if he goes out there and smokes him, that will put the conversation to bed forever. Tyreek, if he chose to go the track route, I believe he, could have been an Olympian with how he can run. But I'm with you. The longer the race, the less chance that Tyreek had. But I'll watch it. I'll tune in.
Oh, hell yeah. I'll be front row.
Either way, it's good news for Dolphins fans.
Facts.
Why is that?
I mean, he's still fast. He looked great.
Yeah, he's great shape.
Didn't look like he was running as fast as he could.
He had a GoPro on his chest. That's like just how casual it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me go ahead and focus on the content here in the middle of this actual race here. And then he wasn't even breathing heavy, obviously, and pulls away from these guys. Who's he racing against? If Noah's next to him, are they racing each other then? It's a little bit different, which I think is a real thing, especially football speed.
Yes,
I think football speed there would actually help Tyreek and also Noah because I guess he has to line up next to people every single time. But nonetheless, I think there should be some sort of prize. Obviously, put some money up and then put some charitable donation up to it, then have it happen. They're going to have to negotiate the distance. Maybe they'll meet in the middle somewhere like 70. You know, like maybe it'll be like a 70-yarder where there's still distance, but it's not necessarily as short. I would love to see it. I would really enjoy that for the good of like sports because as somebody that's had an opportunity never to race in one of these races, of course, but watch these after like workouts, whenever two people are talking shit to each other about who's faster, it's electrifying. It is absolutely electrifying. And I know the Olympics, whenever they're 8 wide or whatever, is cool. And watching that, when it's one-on-one with two people that have been shit talking each other, and then there's people gassing it up too. But we just did it. I mean, we literally just gassed it up right there. It is an electrifying event. That's almost where track should go.
You want to see the best race? You want to hear about the best race I've ever seen one-on-one?
Absolutely.
Shaq and Zoe.
What?
Shaq and Zoe.
Okay, how long was there?
The conversation was always from Shaq. I went 1 and you went 2 in the draft. So everything is a competition from that point on. And they actually had a race one day in practice.
Full court?
It was about Yeah, they're full court. It was a full court race.
Okay, so
and we
how
were
long?
all lined up with our bets and our popcorn.
Yeah, betting M&Ms, obviously not actual money. Yeah, obviously, same with us. We play a lot of cards and stuff like that. The build-up for that, was there a long build-up for that?
Hell yeah, because it started in the draft night. The build-up started draft night. Shaq went 1, and Zoe went 2.
Never forget.
The build-up started there, and Shaq never missed the opportunity to let Zoe know.
Who won?
Who won the race?
Shaq won the race.
Yeah,
what?
Shaq won the race that day.
You thought Shaq was going to lose?
Zoe was a lumberer.
I honestly wasn't sure. Zoe used to be.
Shaq won the race.
Zoe was shredded.
He's big.
Yeah, but let's just talk about Shaq just real quick.
The big Aristotle.
DJ Diesel.
Yeah.
Something different about that big guy.
The big cactus.
Shaq.
That's what I'm saying.
Something different about big fella.
He's bigger than every person you've met. Somehow still more athletic. I think like he's 50-something, obviously. He took a bump off a ring through a table 3 years ago.
Crazy bump.
Just got up in this entire thing. He's shredded. Everything he does, he seemingly has massive success with. It's like, yeah, Shaq won the race. That wasn't even in my eyes.
I wasn't sure.
Because in those races, that's what it feels like it comes down to. It's like, that's how it gets treated. Like, hey, who's the guy here? Like, that is a real convo. And the speed thing, it'd be cool to be a part of this.
Yeah.
That would have been cool to be a part of.
That was a great watch.
No,
that was a great watch for me.
Yeah, never got called into any races.
Is there a lot of racing in the NBA world? Like after, like in that, like football happens all the time.
Not
like,
really racing. There's a lot of one-on-one.
Yeah.
That's how we settle things one-on-one. Yeah, we settle a lot of things with one-on-one, and then if it go too far, then we take it down to the locker room. That's when James Johnson come in.
Yeah, you and Paul Pierce need to do that.
Huh?
You and Paul Pierce need to play one-on-one.
That ain't gonna work. Ain't enough officials in the world to officiate that game.
All right. Before we let you go, AJ, I hope you guys didn't get hit with that. Did you guys get hit with that storm here last night?
Not really. I think it's coming our way now, though.
Dude,
batten down the hatches.
Yeah,
that
good luck.
It literally came in like a wrecking ball. Like it just came in and then it just was done. But then you look outside and there's trees down everywhere. It was like, damn, that was real. We didn't know it was happening until very late. That's on us for not paying attention. I guess they had been predicting it throughout the entire day. Yesterday, I was literally talking shit on the weather people saying, this is a big one, this is a big one. And then it's never a big one. And then big one.
Well and behold, it was.
I'm still without power. I'm still without power at my house because of it. So Godspeed to everybody that is on the receiving end of that coming up. And also, Godspeed to anybody that's on the roadway with Shador Sanders.
Oh my God.
He's going 101 miles an hour in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. Shador Sanders pulled over. It feels like a lot of people get speeding tickets in Cleveland. Wow. Okay, something that just comes to my mind. Feels like that happens out there. Very flat. It is a highway. Depending upon car that he's driving, obviously could naturally get up to a higher speed without even knowing it. Don't want to make too many excuses. Can't have it. Go wake-up call. How are you viewing it, AJ Hawk?
Well, I mean, the fact it's just a speeding ticket, though. That's why I'm okay with it. If it's just a speeding ticket, we're good to go, right? Like, I understand it's pretty excessive speed, but who knows? What car was he driving? Did they say what car and the horsepower? Because that could have been a 3-second situation where he got up to 101.
Yeah, an 04 Corolla.
Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't think it was a Corolla.
It was on a highway, right?
Yeah,
I believe it was a
VW Beetle.
No, I think it was a truck of some sort.
Okay.
Lambo truck.
It was Dodge Ram truck, I believe.
Oh, nice.
TRX.
Those can get up. Souped up.
Things go.
Yeah, souped up.
Dodge Rebel Ram.
I mean, if he has a 2500 Rebel Ram,
then I get it.
That thing's riding on Clydes.
First gear's 101.
And whenever you hit that gas pedal, you know what it sounds like? Obviously, should not be speeding in that excess. Should not. Dangerous. But with some of these cars these days, it is very hard to keep track of how fast you're going. These things are so smooth somehow, even with how shitty the roadways have become seemingly across America. We had a moat around here. I don't know if you saw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one. Got some pavement down up near our house.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
Quarter mile.
Okay.
Quarter mile, fresh black pavement.
Oh, that's perfect.
better.
So smooth. I'm like, damn, get some rollerblades out here.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. And then right on the other side of that thing, we're back on the moon there. But 101, obviously excessive, but $250 fine, speeding, and now he knows. Now he knows.
Did I get caught yesterday? Because I looked and it wasn't Central. Was Zach Edey going 101 yesterday?
Yeah, they were
I was going to say that. Zach Edey got the same thing.
Same exact.
Yeah. They were side by side, actually, talking shit.
I thought they might be racing.
I don't think they were talking shit. I think they were going over place.
I think Zach Edey's was a little different, too, because he basically said, like, hey, I'm fucking 8 feet tall. Okay, I haven't got a new car yet for my new deal. Like, there's nothing he could do. Oh. He can't move his foot anywhere. He's like, "What do you? I mean, my foot weighs 70 pounds. What do you want me to do?" I'm trying to.
Can I be honest with you guys? Let me just be honest. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But when we all get a little drafted, we get a little money in our pocket, we get a nice little car, we turn our musical up, we might drive a little fast. I ain't saying we're going 101. But when we get our little money in our pockets, we get our little cars, we turn that shit up loud as hell, and we just ride. And I mean, it's immature, it's young, and he should never do it again. But he won't be the first young fella that has speed. You know what I'm saying? At least he ain't had nothing in the car that got his ass pulled over and locked up. You know what I'm saying?
To your
It could have
point.
been worse.
To your point.
Could have been worse. Could have been riding
worse.
dirty. So
Agreed.
at least he wasn't doing that. You know what I'm saying?
And Shador, all reports out of the building, they love him over there. They love him over there. And he was in the community before he even got to rookie minicamp. Feels like, obviously long road for a 5th-round draft pick to become a starter in one offseason. But Dylan Gabriel there, Kenny Pickett there, Joe Flacco there. What's the future look like at the quarterback position? Are they going to go young early to give him an opportunity? Or is it going to be a veteran-led Joey Flacco team at the beginning and then one of the young guys determines who takes over? That could be the case. Or Shador Sanders could get cut from the Cleveland Browns and end up on a different team. Dylan Gabriel could get cut from the Cleveland Browns, end up on a different team. Kenny Pickett could get traded again. Joe Flacco could get traded or cut from the Cleveland Browns. We have no clue what's going to happen with the Cleveland Browns, but we do know if you're going 101 on that particular highway, you're going to get your ass pulled over.
That's right.
Yep.
That is what we know.
We also
in
know the
Cleveland.
Browns will most likely make the right decision.
That was a condescending remark from a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I was wondering if you were being funny. What the hell? What the hell?
Hey, that's good omen for tonight that's naturally
Just
coming
like when,
out.
last week I said the Sixers had a good culture.
All right. Hey, AJ, we appreciate the hell out of you, man. You're the best. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
Thank you. All right, fellas. Keep going.
Hey, make your prediction. Make your prediction for tonight's game.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Tonight, I'm going 107-101 Indianapolis Pacers.
Because of your pep talk. Thank you so much. Way to go. That's AJ
Indiana
Hawk.
Pacers, but yeah.
They're in Indianapolis.
He was on that big jumbotron.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's a great photo.
Hey, can you put our wide?
I got a question. You
Hold
the
on,
man around here.
Hold on one second. Let's get a photo. We're going to be up on the jumbotron right there. Tony, you got to sneak in a little bit because you're getting clipped off. We should want to take a photo of this.
Are you taking a Zito?
That's pretty cool.
Me?
All right, sweet. All right, now we're done with that. We've been abusing the right of having that jumbotron.
Should though.
Got to.
Have to.
We had Coach Cal up there talking about $6 billion. What a moment. His head in the middle of this arena saying that his guys have gone on to earn $6 billion. AJ Hawk giving a pep talk, and now us up there. This is outrageous. Big shout out to the NBA and the Pacers for allowing us to do this. You were about to say something, though, UD, before I cut you off.
Can we get some of them shirts up in here?
Yes, definitely.
We
You
gotta
want
get some of them shirts.
Yes, sir.
Also,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we need some of them yes sirs, man. We need some of them yes sirs.
We will grab, Fosso said you got it.
What do you got there?
These are also the schmackers that come the Oklahoma City Thunder have at their games.
Ooh.
Okay?
Oh.
So I was handed a couple of these from the game day crew that's been traveling around kicking ass through these NBA finals, setting up all the shit for the show. So we appreciate the hell out of them.
I spit on these things.
Yeah, well, don't.
Damn.
They're good. They are a good thing.
I'm confused that, remember, was it the Angels playoff run, or who was using the Thunder sticks, that the Thunder aren't using the Thunder sticks?
That's a good point. I believe it was the Angels.
Thank you,
way
Bob.
back.
Yeah, the
boppy.
Here you go.
I don't want it.
Yes, I spit on that
So
thing.
I think what do they do? What do they do? So how do these work?
I think it's like a fan.
Yeah. So you
Makes no
do you
noise.
hit it with another one?
No, do you hit it on your hand?
The ones we got are broken.
That's what it does.
That packs a bit of a punch.
That feels illegal.
Oh, yeah.
This is a fan.
That's
And you can-
cowbell.
You can go this way, too, here.
Yeah, if it gets too hot, Oklahoma City, a lot of humidity.
It's going to get hot in the kitchen tonight here.
Yeah, it is. Long fan. And then bang, we're right into it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's loud.
How many
That's
thousand
a
people?
good gimmick. That is a good gimmick.
How big is that arena?
6,000, 7,000.
I don't know, but it feels like 50.
Dude, this is a good idea.
Yeah.
This thing's loud as shit.
Yeah, this is
Great
genius.
idea.
It's like
Great
piercing to the ear, too. I assume everybody, we're doing it and the microphones are pumped that we're doing that.
Probably.
Thank you. And to the podcast listeners, which there are, sorry about
But you got to let them know.
everything that just
Now they
happened.
felt like they're at OKC
I
Stadium.
ain't quite got it.
What are you doing?
I don't know. I ain't quite got it, guys.
No, you just had it. You just folded it up.
You got to fold it opposite. Every other one is opposite.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got to make it an accordion, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You
Like
can
this.
play some tunes.
Yeah, it's accordion.
Okay, I see what we got here. Yeah, this is dumb. I'll just clap. I'll just clap or yell or cheer. I'm not.
I don't think. No, try this. Try this one. Try this.
This is a bit much for me.
No, I think it's.
Hands too big.
I'm getting overstimulated.
So loud.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
But when you got mitts this big,
I was gonna say,
this big, you just
frying pan.
Thunderous.
that'll work.
Yeah, I could imagine. 2 frying pans. Have you ever chopped anybody? That wrestling chop.
Oh.
Have you ever done that to anybody?
Like a karate chop?
Like open hand to the chest. How about smack to the face? We've smacked somebody in the
Smack a couple
mouth.
motherfuckers. I'm not gonna lie about that. I just smacked somebody.
Have you? You said last time you were on the show, if someone would screw up the locker room, you'd fight him. Have you ever had to fight somebody in the locker room?
I've seen it on the court
A lot of times, but it doesn't never get to that because they always break it up. But yeah, it's been times where it's been confrontational in the locker room. But to the credit of the guys and my guys, we all speak the same language. That big thing that you see with me and Jimmy, the next day me and Jimmy was playing dominoes, drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Like we all speak the same language. Like the James Johnson situation, he whooped somebody's ass in the locker room. The next day, him and that same guy went to lunch. Like, listen, we're going to get this shit over with, and it's awesome. Over after this point. We hash it out, and we move on.
We have that in the NFL. I didn't expect that in the NBA. NFL, obviously, there's a lot of physicality on a regular basis.
Towels.
So we've seen a couple of I mean,
there's been 2 guys fighting with towels on? That's scary.
No,
that's great.
That shit is scary because you don't know if you should break it up or let them just keep going. Or you don't know what to do.
Yeah. The towels left in the middle of that particular fight, too. 2 guys that I was friends with, both of them. That was quite a scene in there. That was quite a scene in there. I'll tell you what, you don't really know what to do.
That was some bopping wood, or what was going on in there?
You could say.
It ended up.
A couple lumberjacks going at it.
Thought he had him in an arm bar. He didn't.
So did it get
Actual quote from combatant.
Did it get broken up?
Joining us now. There was one that carried it. I mean, I've seen my fair share of fights in that locker room, and I've always tried to, hey.
One of the ones was Shaq in our locker room. And I told him straight up, big fella, I'm not breaking up no fight with your big naked ass. I'm not breaking that fight up, Shaq.
Yeah,
this is a fact.
Yeah. Those happen, though, in locker rooms, I think. Like, it's just like going to be natural. A lot of alpha energy.
Yeah.
Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who might have either a story or a potential counter, if you will, to what we're talking about, naked fighting in the NBA. Jeez Louise. Ladies and gentlemen, 13-year NBA vet, Q Rich.
Yeah, Q Rich.
Q Rich, obviously. Yeah, getting after it in there. Every once in a while, you got to do what you got to do. Co-host of the Knuckleheads podcast, Q Rich, thank you for joining us here. It's gone to Game 6 now. You have been on no horse in a race, obviously, not pulling for anybody, but you were for the Knicks, and this entire series you've been for Oklahoma City in every single game. Oklahoma City, the last 2 games, has seemingly been who everybody thought they were going to be outside of Indianapolis, Indiana. What are your thoughts on tonight, Q Rich?
Hey, before I say anything, let me just show you something to prove to you that I'm not, I told you I don't have any horse in this race. And I actually am a very huge fan of Tyrese Halliburton. He has not only signed not just one. He has signed 2 jerseys for my kids.
Okay.
Great guy.
So I rock with Tyrese Halliburton, full support of him. I'm just telling when I'm answering these questions, I'm just up here being honest with you.
Basketball. You're talking basketball.
That's it. I don't root against the Pacers. I don't root for the Thunder and none of that. It's just I want to see good basketball, and then I'm gonna give my opinion about what I see going on and who I think gonna win.
Okay, so do you think tonight there's going to be good basketball? Because I mean, we don't have this. Yeah. Seems to be a little bit of a.
Seems to be cheating.
I mean, there has to be. Why isn't everybody doing this?
I was about to say, why don't we just copy it?
This is genius. We need 18,000. What are these? Thick card
stock. Thick card stock. Yeah,
just have one of the employees here run down to CVS, get
FedEx store.
Yeah, exactly.
Down there, just snag a bunch of school project papers.
Yeah, exactly.
Just hand them out to everybody.
Thick construction paper.
This been going on in inner cities around the world forever. We just these as fans. This ain't, you can't trick me.
Not just inner cities.
We grew up in church. We've been going on forever. It's definitely the church. You done seen these in the church.
So we need 18,000 fans to be delivered to Gainbridge Fieldhouse tonight. What do you think happens this evening? You know, Tyrese, obviously game time decision. We've talked about potential ducks being labeled, or if somebody's injured, let's attack that person. Now, not that Tyrese Halliburton hasn't experienced that in the past, but what do you think of how tonight's game is going to go?
I know y'all hate to hear this, man. I think OKC closed it out. I've been listening to my man UD. Like everybody said, you fresh to death, bro. You already said something earlier that kind of stuck with me when you talked about how it feels more like OKC has started to impose their will these last couple games. And then when you couple that with Tyrese not being all the way 100%, not knowing what he's really going to give and knowing how much he is the engine for this team, I just think that OKC has hit a stretch where now they're playing so well, and you got Jalen Williams who showed up to the party and he kicked the door through. And I think the combination of SGA and Jalen Williams playing the way he's playing with the support of, the defense, the Chet playing, and the chip-ins from everybody else, I think it's too much at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot of what Oklahoma City has been doing that certainly scares the hell out of Indiana Pacers fans. The Indiana Pacers, though, feel like, and UD has said this as well, and I think everybody kind of understands the narrative, underdogs counted out. This is like a Pacer-type game, and it feels like Pacers fans are very much understanding that this is the last home game of the season regardless. This could either be the last game of the season, but it's definitely the last home game of the season. So I think tonight should be pretty electrifying in here. Yeah. Go ahead, Con Man.
No, exactly. Is there any additional things like that, like factors you would say, Q Rich, with the crowd? Just because it has been so electric. Two of the best sports environments I've ever been in was Game 3 and Game 4, and the people really do stand up the entire time. Is there anything from OKC similar to the Nuggets series where it's, hey, this is Game 6, we can come and close it out, it's the finals, but also like if we're down 20 with 10 minutes left in the fourth, we don't have to push it as hard because we can go get it done in 7? Because I think they beat the Nuggets by 40 points in Game 7 in that series.
No, I think if OKC has any approach like that, any thought in their mind like, hey, we don't have to push it or they lose this game. I don't think they go in thinking like that. And I think that crowd will play a huge part and will impact the game and will give, if Indiana does anything to give that crowd juice, they'll get some juice back from it. But at the same time, with that being said, if I'm OKC, we walking in the building knowing we just stared this crowd down and just beat them and then went back to our house and did what they hadn't had happen to them the whole season since March or whenever it was. They hadn't lost back-to-back, and we did that too. So we walking in with a certain amount of confidence and a certain swag. And we also, everybody in the building, everybody on both sides, they know that their franchise guy isn't 100%, so they're keeping that in their mind as well, too, and that's an advantage. And it's not like it's something that you take for granted. You think you got this huge advantage, but you do know that Tyrese is their guy, and he's not right now. So you know that can play a part. Not saying that T.J. McConnell can't come in and flip the table because we know what he does. I fully believe in him and know that he's going to show up. He's going to be a little pistol starter tonight. I'm excited for him. But just knowing that Tyrese isn't 100, that all of those things factor in. And it also factors into some of those Pacers' minds, too.
All right. What's your prediction? Score tonight, Game 6 of the NBA Finals, Q Rich?
I don't have a score prediction. I don't know the pluses and all that. I'm terrible at the betting. I don't want anybody to say my point system, so don't do it. I don't bet. I just say that the OKC will win.
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, co-host of the Knuckleheads podcast. NBA on ESPN pundit, Quentin Richardson. Thank you,
Q.
He's picked against the Pacers every game.
Yes, exactly. So that means nothing.
Every game.
Q got the underdog mentality, too.
I know.
He got the underdog. I'm going to tell you something, though. And the Pacers have been here before. You look at last year in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's right.
And you look at what Nembhard was able to do when I think Halliburton missed about two games.
Yep.
And the ball handling was going on, and Nembhard was distributing, getting about 28 points a game.
That's what I'm saying.
They've been here before.
Yes, they have.
This is not like unfamiliar territory to them. Like, I think we more worried than the Pacers are.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
So, but there's been a lot of talk. Would it be better if Tyrese was just out tonight, or Tyrese is at 70%?
No, it's better for him to be at 70%. Okay. I would hate for him to just miss this whole game because regardless if he plays well enough, we saw it last year when Porzingis came back. You get a guy that's hurt and he goes out in the game and he just lays it on the line. You talk about this fan base and these crowd getting behind something like that.
Yeah.
That brings people together. Yeah. But that locker room's already together right now, rallying around him. But now everybody's going to rally.
Yeah, but Porzingis is kind of like a role player. Like Tyrese is the guy that's leading the ship. At what point does either Tricky Ricky or even a vet come in and say, hey, you hurt. Because he's not going to pull himself out, you know, and everybody look at him sideways if he did. But at what point have you ever been in a situation where you had a conversation with a guy like, hey, you know, you kind of hurting us, maybe, especially with this being Game 6. Obviously, it's win or go home, but we possibly have a Game 7. How does that go from that standpoint, from the coach's standpoints, and then maybe other vets on the team?
That's a great point. That's a great point. And that has to be communication between the coach and the player, and there has to be that trust. If you see that guy's out there and he's not able to operate in a way that he's able to help this team, because you not have to be 100%. At this point, nobody's 100% in the season. Everybody has a dink, a doink, a little something they're dealing with. So if it comes to the point where his injury,
everybody's got a dink and a doink.
They do.
That was a Bop and Wood comment right there. That was a little like it got me.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's just basketball talk.
Yeah, I agree though.
I think if it's hurting the team, that's a Rick Carlisle decision or a Tyrese Halliburton decision. Between both of those guys, they can make that decision. If Rick Carlisle feels it first, then he has to have that conversation. If Halliburton feels it first, he has to have that conversation. But that is something to watch and keep an eye on, because you do not want to hurt the team trying to put your best player out there, and even hurt him even worse as well.
Correct.
Trying to put him out there.
I think Carlisle and the team have that type of relationship, though. Like, I think Carlisle probably had that conversation with Tyrese, especially after last game, with everything that was being said last game, with how it ended, with how he was injured. It's like, I'm very intrigued to see how Coach Carlisle handles tonight. Like, very much so.
Yeah.
Because we all know he's a great coach. I think here in Indiana, we know that he's a great coach more than maybe anybody else.
Yes.
You're talking about this team from when he got here to now, what the Pacers have become and what the Pacers were potentially going to become. Now, obviously, Kevin Pritchard, president of basketball operations here, has put together a hell of a team. They're not even into luxury tax, which is obviously the first time in like 20-some years since the luxury tax was put in, which means they're paying the highest of the salary cap. This is the first time neither teams are in that luxury tax because they're not overspending or, breaking any cap conversations, first apron, second conversation. It's like everything they've done here is right, and Coach Carlisle has been like the kind of the main driver of it all. The trade for Tyrese, brilliant. The trade for Pascal, brilliant.
Yes.
Signing TJ to long-term, brilliant. It's like every move. Neesmith coming here, great play. I think Nembhard's on a great deal. I think everything they've done with this team has been great, and Carlisle has been leading the way. So, I trust Carlisle almost. Not that I don't with Dags.
Yes.
Dag's great coach in Oklahoma City. They kind of have the same thing. They're telling the same exact story over there. I'm just telling it from a perspective of living in this city and kind of watching it all unfold. So I'll be excited to see how Coach Carlisle actually decides to go tonight, because it might be a couple minutes, let's see how it is, because then we got to make a decision. Or, it might be, hey, Tyrese, we need you this whole time, and it's going to be a message to the entire team and to the entire city. I'm fascinated. Now, speaking of awesome things happening in sports, the College World Series is taking place, and there's been some electrifying finishes. Don't look now. College baseball is having one over there in Omaha. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, without a doubt. Last night, Arkansas, LSU, arguably the game of the tournament. A lot of people would say the two best teams remaining in the tournament. And it was full of theatrics and drama. If we go to the 8th inning here, that's kind of where it all starts. Arkansas is they're down 1 to LSU here. Ryder Helfrich is going to chop one down to third base, and LSU is looking to turn 2. Oh no!
No.
Squeaks by. 2 runs are going to end up scoring on this play, so it's going to be so 3-2 Arkansas going in to the bottom of the 8th. And Jared Jones, a lot of people are saying, hey, this is like the one guy you kind of got to pitch around. They pitch to him. He hits a solo homer. We are knotted up.
Casual.
At 3. Very casual.
Slow trot.
Very casual. I don't know if he knew if he got all of it, but he did, So we're knotted up at 3 going into the top of the 9th. He pimps that one a little bit here. And a lot of people are saying, this LSU team, once you kind of concede momentum back to them, it's over because they have a lot of pro prospects up and down the lineup. But we go back to the top of the 9th, Arkansas. They're not done yet. I don't know if we have the clip. I think we do, but if we don't, okay, here we go. So Jared Jones Jr. hits that, ties it up, and then Arkansas puts 2 guys on base in scoring position, Justin Thomas Jr., 2 RBI singles. So they go back up by 2 in the top of the 9th, 5-3. A lot of people thinking, okay, LSU had their chance, and they kind of blew it. They conceded all of that momentum back to Arkansas. Well, I'll tell you what, baseball is a funny thing. Luis Hernandez, the cleanup hitter.
2 outs.
2 outs, laces one out, and Charles Davallon just couldn't get a read on the ball maybe. It's crazy. He has not committed an error all season. So it bounces off his shoulder. LSU scores 2 runs. We're knotted up at 5-5. Still 2 outs here. So, hey, we're okay. We can still move on to extras and maybe, win this thing in an extra frame. Unfortunately, the guy who hit a homer earlier, Jared Jones, that lineup turns back over. And he's going to come up. This is actually a great pitch. But, good hitting beats good pitching. Second baseman mistimes his jump, and then boom, that's a walk-off single. LSU advances to the championship series, and they eliminate Arkansas 6-5.
Jared Jones?
Yes.
He needs to get to the Pittsburgh Pirates now.
You already got one.
No, that's what we need. We need another LSU guy.
2 Jared Joneses?
Yeah. Well, and 2 LSU studs.
What the hell?
That's what we need.
I mean,
this guy hits a single homer, a solo shot in 8th, and then he hits a walk-off single next inning.
Please don't send him to Pittsburgh.
He knew
Go to Pittsburgh.
Keep him out of Pittsburgh.
Just to get traded somewhere else?
And then in the other game, Coastal Carolina.
Coastal Carolina just beat the hell out of Louisville, and they've been very dominant the entire. Well, they've won 27 games in a row. But they've been incredibly dominant in the College World Series. So.
Have you been paying attention, UD? You've been watching this Coastal Carolina
this
team.
This is first-year coach, right? This is his first year there?
Yeah.
It's first-year coach. They went on, I watch every goddamn thing. Pat, I don't have much to do. I'm retired. I watch every damn thing. I'm retired. Yeah, I retired.
It's been good games.
They have.
Really good games. And I'm a fan of baseball. I tell people all the time, they say, how the hell do you watch 9 innings? And I tell them, I just watch a bunch of one-on-ones. Every time it's a new batter that comes up, I watch a one-on-one matchup between that pitcher. Before you know it, you just watched 1,000 one-on-ones. I'm just a competitor, so I just watch these guys play one-on-one all the time.
That was the best part of practice, watching people do one-on-ones. If I start viewing it that way, I mean, that's how I need to watch this.
Yeah, I just one-on-one. I'm going to see shit else. It's these 2 guys. Who's going to win?
That is the entire game. That's why the Pittsburgh Pirates are in such a hellhole.
Right, because it's not really one-on-one ever. They're kind of at a disadvantage every single time they go
I'm a Marlins fan. Don't you start.
Hey, the Marlins at least, they won a World Series not too long ago. Well,
this is true, and then we blow it up every time. We blow it up. We win it and we blow it up right in front of your face. Every time. You think you're getting back-to-back in Miami, you think again.
We'll see. It'll be the same thing this year. They're going to trade all their best players at the deadline, and then you guys will have to figure something out, and you'll be shitty next year and trade all your best players again. And then
is that the Pirates? Marlins.
One of the same.
A little bit of both. Either one.
How many of those teams exist? Because I always go after Tone for being a Pirates fan, which he has been lifelong. I certainly would enjoy the Pirates to win a game. Love going to the games.
Sure.
Beautiful part.
Beautiful part. Yes, beautiful. Cheap to get in. Good party beforehand in the parking lot. I mean, it was just great to go to. And you had no expectations of them winning. So literally, you're just going to have a festival almost. Baseball's happening. And if they were to win...
Great.
What a day.
Yeah.
Zambelli fireworks. They just suck. They just have sucked for so long. So that's always been the thing. But I feel like there's a lot of fan bases in baseball that feel that way. I feel like it's not
probably about 5 to 7 teams that are like that.
Really?
I mean, the Rockies haven't won 20 games yet. We're almost to July.
The A's have been. The A's had to move cities.
Yeah, the A's had to move. The White Sox had the worst record in the history of baseball last year, and the Rockies are going to break it this year. The Washington Nationals, they won a World Series. We went to a World Series game that the Nationals were in. They won that year. You fast forward a couple years, they've lost 11 straight games. Don't really have a superstar. Same deal. They're just every deadline. Hey, which guys do we have that are good enough that teams that are actually trying to win a World Series are going to come get? So there's probably about 5 to 7 teams that are in the Pirates' shoes.
All right,
that's a big chunk of the league.
It's a lot. As we wrap up here on ESPN, we'll continue on YouTube, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and TikTok Live. Couple quick things to note here. Sophie Cunningham, the badass for the Indiana Fever, who is willing to fight.
Sure.
Which we are big fans of for Caitlin Clark. She was also a kicker in high school. Okay, for the brand. Obviously, the kicker is the biggest badass on the court. I love everything about it. Sophie, welcome to Indianapolis. Love that she was a kicker. That's a big ball, too. Hey, that's a good thump. That's a good kick right there. Obviously, she chose basketball, became a professional, but I love that she stepped foot on the field. The amount of courage it takes. She was a black belt in 6th grade or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, an absolute dog. Now she's a member of the Fever. We're thankful for her. And tonight, the Indiana Pacers will try to extend the NBA Finals in Game 6 on ABC. We'll be here. We'll probably be having one. You should too. We'll continue digitally. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. Okay, that was pretty good little wrap up there.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good. Didn't think I was going to be able to hit the Sophie Cunningham thing. Wanted to.
Yeah.
She's she's playing a very key role for this Fever team.
Yes.
She's playing a very key role for this Caitlin Clark career, I think. We talked about you. We talked about JJ. You know, like I got a chance to see it up close and personal with James Johnson whenever I was here for the Knicks games and the Knicks and Pacers game. And it was like, that is a pivotal thing for stars. And Sophie can get buckets too. So it's not like, hey, we're just here to fight. I appreciate that is the case. And what are your thoughts? I don't think we've asked you this about the WNBA as a whole, the moment they're having right now, and Caitlin, and kind of this new era, seemingly, of women's basketball.
I love it. I love competitiveness. I think it's great for the game. I think when people watch basketball and they think of basketball being physical, being competitive, being a little chippy, they think about us. But I think W is just as competitive and maybe even more chippy. You know what I mean? And for Caitlin Clark, I think it's great what she's done for the league.
Has it always been like that?
What?
Chippy.
Yes. W or NBA?
WNBA.
I think so. Because I look at, the history of, Candace Parker and when she first got in the league, and I saw a couple of clips of how she got treated when she first got in the league and how veterans were treating her. So this is nothing new. You know what I'm saying? So, but it helps.
So I think there's a lot of new W fans. I think that is very okay to admit. I think, like the Caitlin Clark college basketball era with obviously Angel Reese and that LSU team and Coach Dahn Staley down there in South Carolina. Like that era, I think, followed into the WNBA. Caitlin Clark definitely being the biggest driver. No questions asked. We're in Indianapolis. Like what she does, she sells out more than Morgan Wallen, Taylor Swift. There's a couple people that sell out everywhere. Okay. Caitlin Clark sells out everywhere. I mean, she is a bona fide superstar. Obviously, a lot of eyes. A lot of new eyes, I think, on the W, which is good for the league as a whole. And I think everybody's thinking, like, well, they're treating Caitlin different. And I think if you listen to the people that are in the W, now, granted, obviously, it has been absurd to watch every single thing that they've done to Caitlin. I mean, last year, in between free throws, girl goes over and they say, this is not different than anything. But I think the chippiness of the league has always been there.
Yes.
And I think that's what people that have watched W are trying. I don't know if they're explaining that enough to the new fans, but like, hey, it's always been this style of basketball. I think not a lot of people know that, D-Bud.
Yeah, it's just more eyes on it. Like you mentioned, Caitlin Clark being kind of
myself included, by the way.
Yeah, being that golden goose. But I went to UConn. I didn't watch much women's basketball before going to UConn, and they were defending champs at that point, men and women. So I watched a lot of them. We're friends with a lot of the girls on the team. So we would practice as football players. We were practicing. I got fouled harder playing against them than I did against football players, and that's no bullshit. And then I obviously watched a lot of them go into the WNBA and follow their careers there. So yeah, this has always been the case, right? There's been and obviously once again, Caitlin Clark is different because of all the different eyes, so all the different opinions,
and how good she is.
Yeah, her play number one. That's why she was the best college scorer, men's or women's, that you've seen career wise from wire to wire as far as the points that she puts up, the way she passed the ball, where she shoots from. You don't see many men doing this. Definitely the first woman we've seen play like this. So that's a huge part of it. But as far as the chippiness, the aggressiveness, all that has always been there. You see it with young players. You mentioned Candace Parker. I watched Maya Moore go to the W. I watched Bree Stewart, Tina Charles, all these phenomenal basketball players go at a different level. When we all competitors. So when somebody gets up there, and the first time I'm going against Odell Beckham, like you got to let him know it's a different challenge too. And then you say, okay, this Odell shit different, so I got to step my game up. So it's the same thing going on in WNBA, and I think she'll be better for it. And she is the ultimate competitor and shit talker as well. So I like it both ways.
She lets you hear about it when she cooking your ass. She lets you know everything she putting in the pot. Here go a little salt. Here go a little pepper. Here go, take that with you. I'm gonna give you a little bit of this.
Okay, let's talk about shit talking in basketball. They talk about Larry Bird.
Yes.
I guess he would just tell you what he was about to do.
Yes.
Legend.
So we know the shit talking is something I have never been able to kind of figure out in the NBA because I don't talk shit to nobody.
How about others though?
The way I grew up playing the game of basketball, the talking shit can go to another level.
Sure.
Growing and playing at the park and having those conversations, you don't know where that's going to go.
Yeah.
So I grew up playing hard as hell, but I never grew up with the shit talking. So when I got to the NBA, that was an adjustment to me. And when people used to talk shit, I used to tell them, all y'all motherfuckers got to come to Miami to vacation. So you talk that shit now. You talk it now. I'll see your ass in the summer. And then what you going to do? And I actually saw a couple guys in the summer. Motherfucker act like they ain't see me then. Now you don't want to see me. I done pulled up on guys like, hey, what's up? You good?
Hey, come on. Get between the lines.
Just making sure you're all right out here. You straight? Okay, cool. Yeah. Hey, just to let them know, I'm here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Who talks a lot? Did everybody talk? Was it
KG?
Yeah. How prevalent is the shit talking?
Well, yeah, KG talk a lot of shit, and that's something that I didn't understand because I always had an ultimate respect for KG's game, but I couldn't get down with the shit talking. Me and KG finally, I'm 2-3 years into retirement. He's however many years in retirement. Finally at a point where we can hash that shit out and we cool now. Like,
okay.
The beef is cooked. We
okay, good. I'm happy to hear that.
But it took a while. It took a while, and that shit was personal because I don't come from a place or era. And my daddy ain't raised no motherfucking punk.
Yeah.
Well, you could just say anything and think it's okay. I wasn't raised like that. I wasn't raised where you could just say anything. On the basketball court, there's sports. Yeah, I cooked your ass. Yeah, but when you start calling people names, and now we're in a whole other conversation.
I understand. Yeah, there's levels and there's lines, and this seems to happen in a lot of different cases. Maybe when there's fight build up or whatever, like that guy crossed the line, that guy crossed the line. There's people that don't see a line though. Like,
it's different regionally too.
Yes,
certain things that you can say to somebody from Cali or from New York, you can't really say in South Florida, and vice versa. So that's always kind of a part of that dynamic too.
And then there's like a shit talking culture from some places. You know, like Northeast is just a shit talking culture.
Yeah.
This generation is a shit talking culture. I tell my son all the time, son, you gonna have to learn how to fight. My son talk more shit than anybody ever seen in my life. I'll tell him, son, you have to learn. Sister, I don't know if we're going to take your ass to UFC, karate, because you ain't growing up how I grew up. So we're going to have to teach you how to fight because you talk a lot of shit. Yeah. You do.
It's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen inevitably.
There's a thing in the NBA, it was either this year or last year, where someone got called a bitch. Maybe it was LeBron, maybe it was Russell Westbrook.
I think it was LeBron and Ime.
In Ime Udoka.
Oh, yeah.
And,
it was, yeah.
He got called a bitch, and it was a problem because he said bitch.
I had to go to a guy's locker room after a game one time.
Jesus.
And waited for him because he said some shit that was out of line. I ain't never took a faster shower. Armpits and nuts, and I'm gone. I will be here when your ass come out.
And how's that conversation go?
My security came and got me.
No, but so you were going to fight him? Definitely?
What?
Yeah, okay, so what happens?
This was young UD, too. Once again, not domesticated. This was young.
Yeah, I understand.
He said some shit that I don't play.
I understand. And also have to set a precedent for everybody else, too, about what the level is and what the line is for you. So I understand. That'd be an interesting situation for the NBA.
My team security, I waited. One of the guys from the other team came out, and he approached me, and this was Zebo. Zebo, I love Zebo. Me and Zebo, Zach Randolph, one of the real ones in the league, and Zebo came out, and Zebo was like, hey, man, I told Zebo what he said, and Zebo was like, oh, you're right. You're absolutely right about how you feel.
Yeah, it's a policing of self situation, and the competitive spirit is the greatest thing on earth. And watching it and how different people go about it. You know, because in the NFL, we talk about Barry Sanders scores a touchdown, and then he just hands
the ball to the ref, yeah.
And everybody's like, that's how you should act. It's like, I've seen a lot of motherfuckers make a lot of money playing sports, acting very differently, and have great careers. And I enjoy how everybody goes about getting to the point where they can be their absolute best. There are some artists with that shit talking.
Oh, yeah.
There are some people.
Gary Payton.
Unbelievable, I assume.
I played with Gary Payton.
Glove?
Oh, my gosh. Gary Payton talked that shit. Oh, he was great at it.
So I think that's what Twitter. I think that's what Twitter has opened up. The people that aren't like professional level athletes, but professional level shit talkers, their shit can get seen. You know, like that is Twitter in a nutshell, basically. Because some person you've never heard of puts together an insult that is so fantastic. Like there's been a lot about me that I'll read. And I'm like, pooh. That's well put together, you know, and it's like the internet obviously spotlights that, but I think it also ultimately spotlights like sports are the greatest. Everybody is welcome, and it unifies all different types of people. Like what we'll have here tonight. Tonight is going to be extraordinary. Everybody in Indiana is going to feel the effects of what happens tonight. If we extend this to a Game 7 and win our final home game of the year, the city's right back on top of the world, just like we were feeling after Game 3.
Yep.
Just like whenever we were up 2-1. If we extend this to an improbable Game 7 in everybody's eyes, especially with Tyrese Halliburton being a game-time decision, obviously he's the leader, the straw that stirs the entire drink for the Indiana Pacers. With all those question marks and how the sports books feel about us, if the Pacers were able to get a big-time win in front of this packed-out Gainbridge Fieldhouse, this city would be electrifying. We would be pumped to be a part of it. And if the Oklahoma City Thunder win this thing tonight, we will have to applaud their greatness as they potentially start a dynasty and certainly have one of the greatest seasons in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
14 losses all season, 12.6 point differential. And then what they do in the playoffs is beat everybody, and they blow teams out. Let's go, Pacers.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's go, Miles Turner. I'm looking at the Turner's block over here. A section in the arena that Miles Turner, I believe, purchases season tickets for, and they have to try out to make that particular section. They're the loudest group of people in the entire arena. I wonder what the Turner's block will look like tonight. I wonder what Miles Turner will look like tonight. I wonder what Nemhard will look like tonight.
Need you boys.
Neesmith, is he shooting at a big rim tonight?
He better be.
Birthday boy.
Need that clip.
Catherine, how's he doing?
Need him.
He's doing great.
TJ McConnell?
Great.
Always.
Pascal?
Great.
That's the one.
Gotta have
Obi
it.
Toppin.
Gotta have it.
Obi Toppin? How
Gotta
about
have
that?
it.
How about the sky hook off the backboard touch by Obi Toppin?
Tough.
Guy couldn't get on the court for the New York Knicks.
Tough.
Gets his name chanted in Indianapolis. We love him here.
Tough.
Let's go down the line here. Predictions.
110, 102 Pacers. At the beginning of the season, we talked about, SGA is going to get his 35. Jalen Williams can't get 40, okay? I think the Pacers are going to realize that. Let SGA get his. Take care of everybody else. Pacers 110, Oklahoma 102.
Big Bop and Wood night, says Tone Diggs. Ty Schmidt, your thoughts?
I like Pacers 108, 103. I think they're going to shoot like 45% from three tonight because they have to.
Okay.
They have to.
A lot of whole reaction.
Yeah. Bingo.
A lot of that tonight.
Bingo.
And what is Shea doing on the other side?
He's going to get his. That's fine. You can't have Caruso can't have a 20-point game. You can't have you can't let these guys come in off the bench who everyone knows, like, hey, he can't get open looks from three. And then, will and behold, he's been in the game for 3 minutes, and he's already got 9 points. Can't let that shit happen.
Yeah, we know Caruso's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boston Connor, your predictions for this evening?
Oh, man.
Oh, no.
No, I'm gonna say I think OKC's gonna kind of take it off. I think it's going to be more of like a 112-93 game.
Whoa.
Where they're kind of like, hey, sure, we
you
could.
Think they fight early?
I think Indy's going to empty the tank. I think this is it for Indy. I think it's all balls
of course,
to the
but
wall.
you think Oklahoma City's going to fight early, but inevitably Indiana's going to take over.
Yeah, even that. I could see a wire-to-wire Pacers victory. I could see it being kind of them controlling the game the whole way. Like even SGA, what was it, Game 3, he had 25 points, 24 points. Like I could see that type of swarming defense around him. Hey, if Halliburton's out, everyone else has to step up. We also all just have to defend our asses off for 4 quarters. So I could see it being more so like Pacers controlling the game, victory, Mathurin coming in, obviously a quick 20-piece for him.
Boom.
McConnell, he has 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. So I think it's more so like Pacers controlled aggression, controlled victory. Tricky Ricky.
Oklahoma City look ahead to
Oklahoma City, hey, that's cool. Game 6, whatever. Sunday, Game 7 at Oklahoma City with this fucking bullshit they have clapping.
Whoa,
whatever.
I don't think I think it's a good idea. If this is legal, is that legal?
Yeah, is that legal?
I don't think so.
A lot cheaper than the Thunder Sticks, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a fan, I guess.
Yeah.
It is.
Certainly, it can operate as a fan because it does get hot in these arenas.
Oh, yeah.
Man, think about how those fans got it. They got fans, and then they don't even have to really beat their hands up too much. Or look, that's just a wrist.
Yeah.
That can get loud.
It's kind of soft.
What?
It's kind of soft.
I think it's a good idea if it's allowed.
Smart, but I'd rather fans have to put in some effort.
You'd rather see palm on palm.
Yeah, I'd rather see some
palm
yelling.
on palm.
Yeah.
You know what this just means? Like, hey, I don't have to really scream because I have this. It's like, well, everyone needs to be screaming. This is the NBA Finals.
Maybe they're doing both.
I'm more.
Maybe they're not.
Yeah, I'm more of a hand-to-hand guy.
Yep.
Yeah,
Bingo.
you like skin on skin. Yeah. You're talking about Bop and Wood tonight for the Pacers. I like that. Let's go to 9-year NFL vet, men's league champion, Darius J. Butler.
I think it will be a cagey affair. I think both teams under 100 points tonight. I think SGA. He's going to be under 30. I think it is a big Mathurin game. And I think the Pacers win 99-93.
Wow.
Force a game 7.
Okay. Old school.
Cambridge, yeah. KJ Fair. Trigger Ricky going to pull something.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
But Dag's going to have a battle too.
Yeah. I don't see us winning a high score, man. We're over, 210. Like, I don't see that being.
What is the over-under on tonight?
221.
221.
Feels like a lot of people thinking under that. 3-time NBA champion. A man who has picked the Pacers in 7 in this particular series in the past. Has he seen anything over the last 48 hours that has changed that? UD, how do you see tonight going?
I'm going Pacers, obviously, but I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to go 115, 110.
Like that.
Okay.
I like that.
115, 110 Pacers.
Over.
And the curveball here is, I believe Halliburton's going to be fine. I believe he's going to play his usual minutes, and I believe Halliburton will be fine tonight. I don't think we're going to have to worry about him. If you're on the other side, you want the team that you're playing to believe he's more hurt than he probably is. I think these couple of days that he's had, I think we know how we get medicated when we had a couple of days to get ready for the game, get our treatment, and do the things we need to do. Now, after the game, I think he'll have to deal with what he'll have to deal with. But I think those 48 minutes tonight, I am worried about when he comes out the game with the pace that they play.
Sure.
That calf. But I think that he's going to be close to 100%. I think they'll have a good game. I think Nembhard is going to step up tonight because he's a guy who's been able to step up when Halliburton has been out and been able to help with that offense. Defensively, SGA get his. I agree with you. Stop everybody else.
Okay.
Does NBA have that vitamin T?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
You guys got Toradol?
Oh, yeah. We got the pills and we got the shots. Okay. We got it all.
Yeah, we talked about that on this show a lot, about how there was a time where the NFL and the NFLPA were kind of trying to grandstand on player security. Each of them were trying to do it. Bombada, 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 bombada. And then they were like, well, we don't know all the research on this Toradol, actually. We would like to ban it because we don't know what the future holds for the players. We would like to do that. And I believe what happened was the NFLPA was like, we're going to hold on to that one. We are going to keep the Toradol half the league here.
That's the secret sauce right there. You can't get rid of that. You get rid of half the league, you get rid of that Toradol.
It's a lot of games. We get the labs before going into the season, get your blood work done, get all these stuff. Yeah, the full thing before season, after the season, so you can see if something's way off, because obviously different people react to different.
It is wild, though, how it works.
Yeah.
So well, you mean?
It is. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, you saw his reaction. You've heard our reaction.
Yeah.
Big rig.
You wake up in the morning and you be like, oh, damn.
But see, there's so many more games for y'all, though. Like, for us, when I was playing, it was only 16 plus the playoffs. But, so it was once a week. You play that game on Sunday, feel great. Monday, Tuesdays, when you kind of get up, like, shit, like, I feel like I just got hit by a bus. But for y'all, 82 games, like, whew.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of guys had lived by the motto, you want it now, you want it 7:30. That's what a lot of guys use. So you have a shoot around and we have practice, and the famous motto of like the guys like Dwayne Wade's and the greats. Hey, coach, you want it now? You want me at 7:30? Makes sense. You got to pick and choose. Like, I ain't ready right now. It's damn 8, 9, 10 in the morning, but I'll be ready 7:30. So leave me alone. Let me sit over here and pop my pills, and I perform. And when that damn clock go off, I'll give you what you need.
Yeah, and there's alternatives and proper guidance through all this, and these are what people go through so they can perform for their teams, for their teammates, for the cities they're representing. All right, we're going to get out of here as you can feel the anticipation in the building. More employees of the building are filtering in. Obviously, more things are starting to happen on the court. I believe there's a shoot-around imminent upon our ending of this particular program. For tonight's Game 6, could this be the last game of the NBA season, or are we headed towards a Game 7? Can't wait to watch. 8:30 on ABC. Pacers, OKC. We shall see.
Let's go.
How it be. Tyrese Halliburton, I'm pulling for you, buddy. Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Pascal Siakam, I'm pulling for you, buddy.
Hello.
SGA, it's been an honor to watch you play basketball, though. I'm gonna be 100% truthful.
doubt.
And Chet Holmgren doing this shit, and their fans. And Jalen going crazy, and Hartenstein rocking the it's like, and then Dags patrolling the sideline. It's like they've been a fun team to watch operate. They have been a fun team to watch operate. But the Pacers got, and Pacers need a big one tonight.
They do.
They need it. They need it. And I think they'll get it. I think they'll get it.
I like that. I like everybody's prediction here is the Pacers.
Yep, I don't know how I feel about that with the Pacers.
Yeah.
No, we didn't do
That's
the
all right, because
graphics,
every other show's picking Thunder.
Yeah.
Straight
Of course.
across the board.
So who cares?
Yeah, so now
counteract it.
we're kind of providing opportunity.
Yeah. They won't watch us. They need to watch the ones that say no.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, don't pay attention to us.
Yeah.
Pay attention to everybody that's saying no. That's the shit that got you here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, keep listening to that. Let all that shit sink in.
Yeah, and I think that has happened for Tyrese.
Osmosis.
And the others.
Oh, listen.
A lot of chips.
4 or 5 points last game. That shit better sink in. You better take that shit personal.
Yeah.
You better be ready tonight.
You're right.
You better borrow a calf or buy a calf or whatever you got to do to suit up tonight, because they was on your ass by them 4 or 5 points.
He said that. He literally said that in the press conference. If I could walk, I could play. It's game 6.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch. All right, from everybody in the truck, great work back there, boys. To the setup crew doing it once again that ESPN pieces together. Barcode in company. We can't thank you guys enough. Great work here. I mean, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
How about the execution of the Jumbotron?
Hell yeah. So cool.
That's
Flawless.
outrageous that we were up there. Great work by everybody that was a part of this. We can't thank you enough. And shout out to the NBA and to the Pacers for allowing us to be in here for this. Tonight, Game 6 in Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll be there. Let's enjoy the hell out of this.
Hell yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Team. Goodbye.